Next up, we have number 3, Zaire Marshall. Zaire is escorted by Holly and Trey Marshall. His best advice to his teammates, don't skip classes. And his senior quote, don't be one of the best, be the best. Zaire Marshall. Next up, it's number 12, Kyle Schletty. Kyle is escorted by Katie Schletty. Kyle's best football memory is winning 2 games last year. His advice to his teammates, don't give up. Kyle Schletty. Our next senior is number 15, Jesse Falk. Jesse is escorted by Adrian and Jesse Falk. Jesse's best football memory is winning homecoming last year. His advice to his teammates, stay true to yourself and don't be afraid of expressing yourself. Jesse Falk. Our next senior is number 27, Leighton Gabler. Leighton is escorted by John and Bobby Gabler. We're going to skip to the next one. Our next senior is Dion Barber. Dion is escorted by Kelowna and Dante Barber. Dion's best football memory is winning homecoming last year. Kind of a theme there. And his advice to his teammates, keep your head up and keep grinding. Dion Barber.
Perfect game. Take this over last year's this one behind school.
Next up, our next senior, number 52, Isaac Grams. Isaac is escorted by Michelle and Tim Grams. His best advice to his teammates, trust the coaches. And his senior quote, you get out what you put in. Isaac Grams.
And got 4. You must take after your dad.
Next up, our next senior is number 54, Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. Jackson is escorted by the Reichenberger family. His best football memory is coming back to Kennedy with the homecoming dub. His best advice, you only live once. Don't live for others. Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. Next up for the Eagles, number 64, Lumen Kamoji. Lumen is escorted by Ayeli Atugobi. Lumen's advice, be yourself. And his senior quote is, don't forget where you come from. Lumen Kamoji. Next up, it's number 80, Brady Bean. Brady is escorted by Robert and Terry Bean. His best football memory was blowing out Jefferson freshman year 44-12. And his best advice to his teammates, stay positive and do all your work. Brady Bean. And now we're going to cycle back to number 27, Leighton Gabler. He is escorted by John and Bobby Gabler. His advice, don't do anything stupid and it will be great. His senior quote, hello there, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There you have them, ladies and gentlemen, the senior players of the 2020 Kennedy High School football team. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to their parents for their support during their high school football career.
Friday night football here at Bloomington Stadium. What a beautiful night in November. It feels like it's August or September with temperatures above 70 degrees today. It's a little bit cooler than that right now, but perfect for high school football week 5 of the season as Kennedy takes on Columbia Heights on senior night for the Eagles. Alongside DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers with you. And DJ, we talked to Kedrick Williams on Tuesday on Inside Kennedy Football. They really want to get that first win. 2 0-4 teams. One of them's going to get that chance and get that opportunity tonight.
Yeah, 2 0-4 teams on paper, but I don't think they're 0-4 teams on the field tonight. I think both teams are going to give their best effort. I think this will be the best game for both teams.
Both teams really coming off strong performances. Columbia Heights put up a season-high 31 points for them in a loss against Richfield. Kennedy, I thought, played a very strong game against an undefeated St. Croix Lutheran team. So it's two teams, as you said, DJ, kind of trending on the way up a little bit.
And this is exactly where you want to be as a head coach. You want your teams to start playing and creeping up toward the end of the season, playing their best style of football. If you're Kennedy, you're just trying to get a win and do something great for your program right now at a home field with the senior night. If you're Columbia Heights, you're trying to bust things up to get your first win.
All right, let's take a look at the Metro Top 10. Again, this is the metropolitan area Top 10 according to the Star Tribune, regardless of class level. So you can see Lakeville South still number 1. They've held that position since the first week of the season. Also undefeated, Eden Prairie, St. Michael Albertville. You see a couple of 3-0 teams there in Eastridge and Rosemount that have played one less game. Farmington 4-0. Maple Grove, just the one loss. Prior Lake still in the top 10 despite 2 losses. That's how highly regarded they are. And then rounding out the top 10, St. Thomas Academy and a newcomer this week into the top 10 in Andover at 4-0. Let's take a look at games last week in the Twin City Red District and also the city of Bloomington. We mentioned Kennedy. They got off to that great start with that fake punt touchdown against St. Croix Lutheran. Had some chances in the second half before St. Croix Lutheran was able to put that one away 27-13. Then you saw Jefferson. That was a heartbreaker for the Jaguars. 25-23 in a loss to Benilde. And then the other 2 games, you saw that Columbia Heights putting up 31 points for them. It's the team that struggled to score earlier in the year in that loss against Richfield. And then a huge win for Southwest. They upended Washburn with their first loss of the season. Washburn 17-14 in a nail biter there, DJ.
Yeah, then you knew that their defense was going to show up eventually, and they actually kept Washburn from scoring points to get the win.
Let's take a look at where that puts Kennedy in the standings here through 4 weeks of the season. In the district, you see St. Croix Lutheran still 4-0. Washburn with that loss to Southwest. They're now tied for second. Richfield 2-2, and then you see the 2 0-4 teams doing battle. One of those 2 teams is going to move a little bit up in the standings after tonight. Games this week. Of course, this one here, Columbia Heights and Kennedy. Jefferson on the road, a tough challenge, facing Robbinsdale Cooper and all their skill position players, including Jackson Howard, one of the top recruits in the country. Richfield taking on Minneapolis Southwest tonight. And then the game of the night in the district, certainly St. Croix Lutheran undefeated. Washburn, you know they're going to be out for blood after getting their first loss last week, DJ.
Yeah, I think these next couple of weeks there's going to be some moving, some shaking going around. This is high-level football that needs to be played right now so people can get their places in the district.
All right, let's talk more about this matchup tonight. Two teams that like to run the ball. We certainly have seen that from Kennedy throughout the season, and when you look at the statistics for Columbia Heights, that certainly bears that out as well. So our key matchup for Kennedy, they did a nice job last week against an undefeated St. Croix Lutheran team running the ball. That offensive line versus the Columbia Heights defensive line, they're going to need to play well to open things up offensively.
Yeah, this defense of Kennedy, you know you're coming into this game against a team that wants to run the football. They want to be physical. They're going to go downhill. They're not going to be flashy. I think Deion Barber is going to have to show up tonight. It's a senior night. He's going to have to play his best game.
Let's take a look at some of our players to watch. We'll start on the Kennedy end. Always a key guy offensively. We've seen special teams, defensively. On senior night, you need some of those seniors to play well, and certainly they're going to need Zaire Marshall to play well for Kennedy.
Yeah, Zaire is just a playmaker. You could put him anywhere on the field. The highlights show it. He's just a player. You put him on the field, and he'll show up and play ball. Tonight, it's 70 degrees out. It's not cold. This is a good game for a guy like him who's just going to run around.
And then really a guy last week, DJ, with a breakout performance, the sophomore Saeed Alisani, the running back for Kennedy. He's been really coming on, and his game last week proved that. I think he could have another big game tonight.
Coach Williams has been looking for somebody to hang his hat on, and I think he's found a guy. Over 20 carries last week. This kid just needs an opportunity to run the football. A couple of weeks ago when I saw him, I felt like he made some mistakes just because he was too young. The only way to fix that is through experience, and Coach Williams is helping him out.
And then for Columbia Heights, they love to run the football. This is their key guy. Coach Williams talked about him on Tuesday, Emil Clark, the running back.
He's got the big play ability. They'll put him outside a receiver. They love to run the out route, but he is the guy that they're going to give the big-time carries here. Look for him to try to score big-time plays on the power play, which is their base run.
And then the other guy, both teams play a lot of players that go both ways, and Chase Oates, you're going to see him at wide receiver. He's a defensive back, a key guy when you look at Columbia Heights.
I looked at him on the football field, and he had pretty good size. So he looked like he was a guy that you could be like a Swiss Army knife. You could put him anywhere on the field. So look for him to bounce around and make plays.
All right, our keys to the game, DJ, and talking with Kedrick Williams on Tuesday, they keep referring to this phrase over and over, do your job is our first key. What do they mean by do your job?
It means don't try to overrun the system. Don't try to do something outside of what you've been coached. Just trust the system and trust that we have your best interest. This is a community game. So in the community, you have people that have played certain roles. You just got to play your role and trust that the coaches have you in the right position. You should be successful.
Another thing Coach Williams talked to us on Tuesday on Inside Kennedy Football about was playing with confidence. You're starting to see some of the younger players get that confidence. We mentioned Alisani and others, and that's a trickle-down effect. You know, the seniors are going to have confidence, and it's starting to breed throughout the team.
Yeah, Coach Kedrick Williams said at the beginning of the season, this was a year to try to figure out who could play. There's no state championship, so let's put guys out there and try to go. I think that the system is starting to work. We'll see if it works tonight to get a W.
Really, we're not breaking any news with our third key to the game, but it's such a critical component for Kennedy tonight. Slow that Columbia Heights running game down. They're not an explosive team through the air. That's really going to help them defensively.
Although I think that obviously the strength of both offenses is to run the football, I think it's going to be key tonight to be pretty balanced. Both teams know that they want to run the football. So what you're going to get is 8-9 guys in the box. Somebody's going to have to throw the ball. I think number 11 for Columbia Heights is the guy that can throw the ball. Also look for Kennedy to try to throw a gadget or some type of thing out there. You saw what they did last week in the special teams. For them to win this game, you got to throw everything up against the wall and give it your best shot.
It's senior night, the final game here at Bloomington Stadium for Kennedy in the regular season. We'll see if they can get that key W for their seniors tonight. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the starting lineups, the national anthem, we will kick off week 5 of the season. Kennedy and Columbia Heights next on BEC-TV.
Myth. I can party with people as long as they don't have symptoms. That myth is false. As we've seen, up to 40% of people who have COVID-19 are asymptomatic and can pass it on to others. So I'd recommend avoiding any social parties, especially indoor ones. If you want to try to socialize but reduce your risk, I'd recommend meeting outside in small groups, continuing to wear a mask, and socially distancing from others if you can. Then together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
For ways to keep your community safe, go to backtoschooltogether.com.
And fans, just a reminder, please follow proper social distancing this evening. Spectators are expected to sit 6 feet apart unless they are sitting as a family unit. We also ask that all spectators please wear your masks. And let's do everything to keep everyone healthy and safe and help the team keep playing this season. Your cooperation in these matters is truly appreciated. And a gentle reminder, the Bloomington schools and their athletic facilities are tobacco-free. Please refrain from the use of tobacco anywhere in the area of the Bloomington Stadium. Now we would ask that you stand, direct your attention to the scoreboard end of the field. It is time to honor the United States of America with the playing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your headwear.
All right, we are ready to kick off week 5 of the season alongside our crew, alongside DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers with you, and two teams looking for that very first win as Kennedy taking on Columbia Heights. Here come the Eagles on senior night. We do have senior spotlights for the Eagles, as many of them as we're able to fill out our paperwork before the game tonight, so we'll get to those throughout our broadcast. It'll kind of be fast and furious in this condensed season. Normally we like to spread those out a little bit, but we'll spotlight as many of those seniors as we can here, as Kennedy with the navy blue tops and the white pants. DJ, what a night for football here. It's November. If you're watching this game on a tape delay, if you're not watching live, boy, remember back to this week in November, what terrific weather, and it continues this evening.
I remember last year during this time, they played each other, and I was on the top of the booth. It was snowing, freezing. I was getting hit in the face with snow, calling a football game. And tonight, this is perfect weather. I love it. Look at the field. It looks great. I haven't seen it look this great this late in the season in a very long time. I think that both teams should benefit from this type of weather tonight.
Remember, just 2 weeks ago, Kennedy's home game had to be moved because of snow on the field. Today, DJ, I was out on a jog in shorts. I played a little golf this afternoon. It was just can't believe the weather, and these teams have really lucked out. It's not quite mid-70s like it was earlier this afternoon, but that's actually probably better that we're now down into the mid-60s. Not a lot of wind either. Just could not ask for much more here in early November weather-wise in Minnesota.
Yeah, this is beautiful weather. I think that both teams are looking to get something going here. It's senior night for the Kennedy Eagles, and both teams are 0-4. Like I said earlier, I do not believe we're going to see an 0-4 versus an 0-4 football game tonight. I think both teams are ready. They are putting their best football together right now, and even though they don't have a win in the column, they are playing winning football in their hearts. So we'll see a good football game tonight.
Looks like Columbia Heights will receive the opening kickoff there in the white. The Highlanders of Columbia Heights. Mentioned they're 0-4, a rough start to the season. Their first two games they lost 29-2 to Southwest, 37-0 to Washburn, but then they've kind of turned it around a little bit. A 3-touchdown loss to undefeated St. Croix Lutheran, and then they put up 31 points against Richfield. So it was a team that through the first 3 weeks had scored just 1 touchdown, but they put 4 touchdowns on the board last week against the Spartans.
It's going to be interesting to see how they start out this week. Both teams seem to play their best football or their best offensive football in the second quarter. Kennedy scoring their most points in the second quarter, and the Highlanders scoring their most points in the second quarter. So we'll see who can have the best first half. Either we're going to see a tight game late or a blowout early.
Kennedy to kick, and a low kick dribbling to one of the up men at the 25-yard line, and a pretty good return out to the 39. So reasonably good starting field position for Columbia Heights. It's Caleb Lewis, the junior. Not a ton of seniors on this Columbia Heights team. Their quarterback is a sophomore, Matt Rockwell, number 11. But one of those key seniors we talked about, Emil Clark, he figures to get the lion's share of the carries as he has all season, over 500 attempts, or 500 yards on 96 attempts. That'd be impressive if he had 500 attempts in 4 weeks, DJ. I would say lay off of the rushing attempts if that was the case. But here's their first play, and it goes to Clark right side. Good hole, and a pickup of nearly 10. We'll see where they mark it, right at the 50 for Emil Clark. 524 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, and he rushes for over 130 yards per game as he gets 10 and a first down on his first touch.
Yeah, Kennedy has seen some big backs or some strong backs the past couple weeks, so they should know how to get a guy like that on the ground. But he's had so many carries. A guy like him will wear you down late.
Clark 6 feet 200. That's what he's listed at. Handoff straight ahead. Clark again to the 45 of Kennedy for a pickup of 5.
I felt like Columbia Heights needed to be physical at the point of attack on both sides of the ball. Right now they're showing that they're not hiding anything. Their best 2 plays are the blast and the dive, but also look for the play action pass. They like to get the quarterback out on the edge. They want to see if they can get Rockwell the opportunity to throw the ball on the outside, so look for the formations that are passing situations.
Rockwell not a big guy. He's only 5'11", so getting him out in space helps.
Here's one right here. They love to boot these guys out in this formation.
And Kennedy jumped. Then we'll see here. This could go either way, actually. There's certainly some movement for Kennedy, but then did that cause Columbia Heights to jump, or was that first? It looks like the Highlanders are backing up 5 yards.
Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. You play second down.
Well, the rule is just as long as the defense does not cross that line of scrimmage. If they don't encroach, they don't get across that line of scrimmage, then everything's good. It looked like they got back soon enough and the offensive line jumped. So here's the opportunity now here when you got 2nd and 10 now. You're back at 2nd and 10. Look for the off-kilter kind of play. They might go back to the same formation. It looks like it. They'll put the guy back in motion, run the same play. But this is where they might want to throw the ball here.
Kennedy creeping up to that line of scrimmage on the 2nd and 10. They go to Clark up the middle, bounces it to the edge, and then you see the power. He's going to be very close to the first down, about a yard short for Emil Clark. So 3rd and 1 for the Highlanders. If you're wondering about Rockwell, 31 out of 76, so just 40% completions, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So if you can force them to pass, that's where defenses have been successful. Kennedy allowing that 2nd and 10 to now become a 3rd and 1.
Well, this is where the offensive line has to come into play. You know who's going to get the ball. Kennedy's going to have to make a stop here.
Go back to Clark, has to stutter step, but he's got enough for the first down. Kennedy was there, had a chance to make the play, but Emil Clark, not just a bulldozer there, he showed some nifty feet to pick up the first down.
So nobody else has touched the ball. It's just number 6. He's going downhill. He's being physical. A lot of number 6 early. I'm wondering if they're going to do a play action pass or take a shot here in this area as we see the replay. Going downhill, picking up a good block. Getting the first down.
Kind of reminds me of that Southwest game with Flask Camp a couple weeks ago for Kennedy. It was literally a one-man wrecking crew. Back to Clark for carry number 5, and this one the most successful for Kennedy defensively is it's just a gain of 1.
Emil Clark is a monster right now. And I felt like also that if they found a way to, if Columbia Heights found a way to dominate the time of possession, they'd be in a good spot too. So they're doing what they want to do right now. They're taking the ball, they're controlling it, they're being physical. They seem to like that right side of the offensive line right now too.
They're gone there pretty much every play. 2nd and 9. Kennedy showing blitz. Play action, Rockwell rolling left, fires open man, and the pass too tall. Intended for Chase Oates, who we talked about at the top. Their wide receiver and defensive back, but he needed to be another foot taller to grab that one.
Yeah, that's just a poised throw. As we talked about it, they wanted to get Rockwell out on the edge. He's a right-handed quarterback, so that's a very tough throw to make. He had to get depth and then come downhill to make that throw. I didn't see too much pressure, so I don't know why he just didn't set his feet and throw the ball. He's pretty athletic, so that ball going over the receiver's head was kind of tough. Look for him to try to make that play again.
Well spotted by you, DJ. I would agree. He definitely had time to set his feet. So 2nd and long for the Highlanders. Back to Emil Clark, and he's going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. 3 Eagles were there, including Lubin Kamoji and Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. A couple of seniors there.
Deion Barber also getting inside there. I told you, both teams know that they want to run the football. So somebody's going to have to be the team to throw the ball here. As they get in there, Deion Barber doing a really good job of sinking his hips and getting inside and grabbing them and throwing them down on the ground. Now it's 4th down.
They will punt. Fake, always an option in this territory, but they do kick it away. And a good directional punt. Out of bounds at the 10. The punt from Austin Heimers, a sophomore. Kennedy takes over offensively for the first time. You mentioned Barber, DJ. He had a team-high 12 tackles a week ago. He's going to have to be key, and he was on that 3rd down.
You know, I talked to a couple of the coaches, and I just felt like Deion Barber was one of those guys. He's a leader. You know, even on a team that doesn't have a great record, a kid like that gets recruited, and I hope the kids learn that. It isn't always about, especially this year with no state championship in the grasp, it's about getting good film and being a good person and having good character. So he's one of those kids.
So Kennedy for the first time, Zach Zesh, the quarterback, and the handoff. And there's the sophomore, Saeed Alexani. He had a strong game a week ago. You mentioned more than 20 carries, over 100 yards for the first time in his Kennedy career. And he starts off strong with a pickup of about 5, it looks like. Correction, 6 on first down.
Well, so far so good. I felt like Kennedy needed a great start and eventually a great finish. So right now, getting the stop, getting 5 yards, they're good to go.
Back to Alessani, big hole! On the right side, he spins for the first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Pickup of a dozen, and Kennedy has their first down of the game.
So we saw 2 different formations, and I did feel like Kennedy was eventually going to have to win the big play margin by having gadgets and gotchas. That's what I like to call them, gadgets and gotchas. Where the first formation was a weird gadget gotcha formation. Now you got them thinking. Then you go back to your regular stuff. So we'll see what we get here.
Columbia Heights with some late substitutions. They have to burn a timeout.
Starts timeout. Columbia Heights. The first.
So
Kennedy doing a good job getting up to the next level, and this is what you have to do, and that only comes with experience. Now we got Alisani getting in the hole and seeing the holes. What he didn't do a couple weeks ago, he would just try to run straight to the sideline and find his way up first. He's being coached now to get inside the hole, find the holes, trust and do your job. Like Coach Williams said, trust the call, do your job. The offensive line did a very good job getting them yards.
6:51 left, first half. So glad you're joining us here on senior night for Kennedy. So they look to get that first win of the year. Kennedy in the Navy tonight at Columbia Heights. Both teams with very similar school colors. Kennedy in that home navy with the white pants.
You know I love those helmets.
They are. Which ones? You like both helmets probably as a guy from Michigan, right, DJ?
Well, I like the Kennedy helmet because I do love Kennedy, but those helmets, those, what are they called? The winged...
the wing T, I believe.
Yeah, or wing, I forget what the winged helmets. They're beautiful. Quick play.
Kennedy goes hurry up, and they stack up Dion Barber for no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for Kennedy, so Columbia Heights run defense tightening up.
Coach Cooper calling 2 plays at once there, and this is the other key that I felt like for Columbia Heights. They wanted to force the 3rd and long. Now these situations right here, it's an obvious, either it's an obvious passing down or you're gonna have to run a long developing play here. So this is exactly where Columbia Heights wants Kennedy.
Barber trotting on the field. Zach Zash 25 out of 60 this year, so very similar numbers to Rockwell. They'll keep it on the ground. 3rd down, Alisani, about a yard short. Needed the 40. Looks like they actually marked him at the 38, 2 yards shy, so 4th down and short now for Kennedy.
Kennedy seeming to play it safe, running the play to get him the ball on the left side.
They're going to at least line up to go for it. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to draw him offside. This would be a pretty big gamble this early.
You either trust your defense or you have nothing to lose.
4th and 2. We'll see if they snap it. They do. Barber up the middle, not going to get it. So the gamble does not pay off, and the Highlanders take over in Kennedy territory.
Big time play by the Columbia Heights Highlanders. Both teams seem to be getting stops now. Somebody's going to have to make the big play. It's coming down to who's going to make the big play. As you see, Kennedy lining up to power the ball inside with Dion Barber. Great leverage, great pad level. The Highlanders stop him on 4th down.
Savion Harvey, number 20, was in there, the sophomore. So the Highlanders right back basically where they punted the ball to Kennedy. Rockwell to throw this one down the far sideline and may have been broken up. It was pretty good coverage over there from Kyle Schletty. Number 12 was in a great spot. And it's an incomplete pass, 2nd down.
Now I believe that's Elijah Smith. As you see
correction, you're right.
The ball goes up in the air. This is beautiful football. This is well coached. He does a really good job of turning his head to the quarterback, squeezing the sideline. Do your job football right there.
Smith just a sophomore for Kennedy.
He played that well. That was really good. That was pretty poised for a young sophomore.
2nd and 10. They go back to Clark, and he goes nowhere. All wrapped up in the backfield. Reichenberger Cooper on the stop.
Boy, is he having a good night. I'm seeing him all over the place. I looked in his eyes pregame, and usually when I look in Jackson's eyes, he's already fired up and focused. And the coaches told me this week that they felt like this was one of the best weeks of practice that they've had all year. It wasn't rah-rah. It wasn't a bunch of yelling and screaming. They just lined up and said it's time to get ready to go. And a senior like Jackson is going to try to get these guys a win. They only got one more game on this field.
So 3rd and long. We already have seen Columbia Heights punt it from this spot on the field. They look to probably pick up 5 or 6 yards and then maybe go for it.
Look for the deep out here.
Fake the handoff. Rockwell rolling right under pressure. And he's going to go down all the way back at the 48. Dion Barber with the sack, but it was Christopher Martin who blew the play up.
That is some inspired football that Kennedy is playing right now on defense. As you see, they are definitely trying to get outside the pocket. Christopher is doing an outstanding job of getting there, putting hats on hats, putting hands on hands, being disruptive.
Here's the punt. On a hop to Marquez Monroe, see if he can get outside. Breaks a tackle, Marquez. And he hops out of bounds after a 10-yard return at the 25-yard line. Love how Christopher Martin on that play, DJ. He set the edge, forced Rockwell back inside, and that's where you want to keep that quarterback, and he had some help to get that sack.
And Chris has so much potential. I don't even know if he knows how much potential he has with his size. I think he's about 6'6". I think he's about, 235, 240. He has so much potential. I just wonder if he had the motor. That play, he didn't give up on the play. He stayed outside. He set the edge like you said, and then somebody else can make the play. He just needs a motor to play every single play.
Terrific kid. We had him as a guest on Inside Kennedy Football this week. Coach Williams spoke glowingly about both him and Marquez Monroe. Here's the first touch for Zaire Marshall, and it's a productive one as he's ushered out of bounds at the 31-yard line after a gain of 6.
I'm pretty impressed with how many different formations Kennedy is being able to run. This is Zaire's first carry. He's being very patient. He's only got one guy to beat here. I think if he gets that play 2 or 3 more times, one of them is going to go to the end zone.
Down to 3.5 minutes left, opening quarter. Columbia Heights has been outscored in the first quarter, 48-7 this year. Kennedy hoping to continue that trend. Alisani breaking to the second level, and he's got a first down out to the 41-yard line.
That was a very strong run. Kennedy being very physical up front right now. We also saw Jesse Falk in the slot there. So remember what we talked about, the gadgets and gotchas. You never know. It seems like Kennedy has a game plan tonight.
Well, it's a double pass territory if I've ever seen one, potentially. Falk, the former starting quarterback. Fresh set for Kennedy. Back to Alisani. Plenty of room up the middle. He's near another first down, near midfield as well. Gain of 9. Kennedy's starting to move downhill a little bit.
Jackson Reichenberger up to the next level. Experienced guy, knows he wants to run the football tonight. He wants to put it in his hands. If you look up there, number 54, driving his feet, getting his hands inside, pushing down the field. That is physical football.
Love how he's 10 yards downfield as well. That is outstanding. Second and short, Kennedy. And a flag in there. In a troubling spot if you're the Eagles. Might be the first penalty on Kennedy.
It might be a false start. That was a pulling guard there. He might have went too early. Or we could have seen the defense jump off sides early. I don't know what we get. Also might be a holding. Could be anything. Who knows?
Holding. Offense. 54. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay. Second down.
So it's going to hurt Kennedy on this series, their first penalty of the game.
But blocking is a mindset. Sometimes you get away with those calls. Sometimes you don't. You know, you looked on the last play where Jackson Reichenberger was up at the next level being aggressive. This time, you know, he's probably just as aggressive and maybe got caught doing something he wasn't supposed to. But if you don't play hard and if you're not playing physical, you're not playing to the T of the whistle, which means the very end of the whistle, then, you know, you don't give yourself a shot. So he's playing really hard tonight.
Kennedy, 4 wide receivers, maybe trying to spread out Columbia Heights here. Second and long, they toss it to Zaire Marshall with another flag down. Marshall out of bounds at the 35-yard line. This one also looks to be on Kennedy. Perhaps an illegal formation.
They did seem pretty confused in the beginning of the play, how to line up. So it wouldn't surprise me. Kennedy's going to have to stay disciplined and make the right decisions tonight to put them in the best position. So far, decision-making has been great as far as running the football, blocking hard. They haven't had to really pass the ball too much, but now it's about being disciplined. It's a pretty long conference here.
Illegal formation. Offense. That penalty is declined. Third down.
So second down for Kennedy and 13. First throw for Zesh, and it hits Zaire Marshall in the face mask, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know if he wasn't ready for that or if the ball was. I couldn't say that the ball was misplaced. Zaire definitely didn't know that it was coming out. It's on a string. As Zesh sets his feet and gets ready to throw the ball, as you see here, he makes his read and just throws that ball. I don't know whether the lights got in his eyes or not, but that ball's pretty much on the money.
Correction, that was third down. Excuse me there. That penalty was declined. So first punt for Kennedy. Christopher Martin, pretty high snap. Good thing he's 6'6", as he's easily able to catch it. And the punt is dropped and then recovered by Chase Oates at the 29-yard line.
Some bright lights out here tonight. Everybody's having a tough time locating the football in the air. Good thing both teams love to run the ball and not pass too much. As you see it, the ball's in the air. He fair catches it, does a pretty good job besides fielding it.
33-yard punt from Martin. We asked him on Tuesday, this is his first year punting. Said, have you always been punting? And he just said, it's kind of something that I would do after practice, and then coaches kind of got wind of it, and here we are. He's been the punter all season. Pretty good hang time right there. Columbia Heights now for the third time on offense. And they fumble the snap, and then they try a backward pass. Clark has it, and he's trying to make something out of nothing, and he gets back basically to the line of scrimmage. A lot of risk and a lot of movement for a gain of maybe a half yard.
Rockwell not being able to field the snap here. As the ball comes up, he just gets his feet up from under him too quick, trying to get the pitch out too fast. Good thing that Emil Clark was ready to go, picking up the ball, and he gained about a yard.
You could almost hear the Columbia Heights coaches when Rockwell decided to try to fling that back. There were two Eagles about ready to tackle him. That could have been extremely disastrous. Very fortunate Columbia Heights right there. Rockwell to throw for the third time, floats it out. Again, it's high. This time it's caught, though, by Oates.
Flag on the play here.
Right at the line of scrimmage. It is a gain of 4 as we're in the final minute of the first quarter.
I got to give credit to the Columbia Heights offensive staff saying, of course, we got to give them a chance to throw the ball.
Holding. Offense. Number 51. 10-yard penalty from replay, second down.
So this is going to hurt the Highlanders. 2nd and 19 now.
This is exactly what both defenses want. Long possessions that you have to gain, the better way to say it is you want third and long. Now what comes into play is, can the offense get big plays? Somebody's going to have to get a big play. You're going to have to do a reverse, a screen play, something you're going to have that's not in the norm and not on film.
2nd and 23 from where they spot the ball. Kennedy showing a blitz off the edge with Monreal. He'll back off, pitch to Clark, right side. Puts it upfield. Kennedy rallies to the ball pretty nicely there. It's a minimal gain of just 2. And Kennedy will certainly take that on 2nd and 23.
Number 1, Lavelle Miller doing the job that he's supposed to, set the edge, contain, being physical, and still being able to get there and make the play. Also, got to give a big shout out to Lavelle. He just signed to go to Augsburg this week, so congratulations to Lavelle and continuing your athletic and academic opportunities.
Kennedy's got a pretty good history of linebackers
That might have been a fumble.
to Augsburg. So maybe we can get another look at that.
Brandon Shostrand.
Brandon Shostrand has done very well. Of course, the MIAC plans to, so we've reached the end of the first quarter. Their season not yet commencing.
That is the end of the first quarter.
So we talked about getting a fast start. Neither team did that, DJ, but give Kennedy's defense credit. Columbia Heights a short field on a couple of occasions in that first quarter. Kennedy was able to keep them off the scoreboard.
Once again, both teams scoring their most points in the second quarter. So look, some high-power fireworks coming in your way this second quarter.
All right, we mentioned it's senior night. We've got a bunch of senior spotlights. We'll get to as many of the seniors as we can, all of them hopefully who filled out forms. And our first one, the guy who's had a very good game so far, Jackson Reichenberger Cooper on the D line and the O line. There he is there, number 54 for Kennedy. He says his favorite football player is himself. How about that?
That's not too far from Jackson. Anybody that knows Jackson, that's the correct answer.
Well, they asked advice in the Kennedy Senior Night presentation earlier, and he said basically you only get one life, so you might as well live for yourself. So that goes along those lines. His favorite food is ice cream. His favorite football memory, beating Jefferson in the 8th and 9th grade year. His goals for the season, win at least 4 games. He's going to go to college next year is his plan. He's not sure where yet, which is about on par with where most are at right now in this fall semester. So there you go, Jackson Reichenberger Cooper.
I hope somebody decides to put him, if he decides to play football, I hope somebody decides to put him on a football field. He's an excellent kid. He's going to work extremely hard. I remember coaching him in basketball one year in 8th grade, and he made an outstanding tackle on the basketball court, I got to tell you.
So now 3rd and 21 for Columbia Heights. This is where Kennedy wants to be.
Bail position by the cornerbacks. Cover 4.
Oates goes in motion. Rockwell rolling left. Sets, fires, and it was almost intercepted. I think Rajon Walker would have picked it, but basically his hands ran into a helmet of another Eagle, which jarred the ball loose. A dangerous throw by Rockwell, and Columbia Heights averts disaster again. They'll be forced to punt.
You see Kennedy kind of playing they're playing a different card game. They're playing poker here right now with their corners, playing them back. Even though they knew it was a long play, they also gave Rajon the opportunity to come up and make a play.
Not a good punt here. Kennedy's going to get great field position. It does take a Highlander bounce, and it rolls dead at the 40. A 22-yard punt, no return. Kennedy's flipped the field in those last 2 possessions, DJ, and now their offense has a great chance to get on the board.
If they continue to be versatile in their formations, which I think is what's slowing up the Columbia Heights football team. I think Columbia Heights saw last week and said, all right, this is a one-dimensional football team. They're only going to give the ball to one person, and we're just going to come downhill and try to beat you guys. Kennedy has given them different variations of their offense, and it's working.
Zash hands it off. Zaire Marshall, look at that push from the line. Marshall basically goes 5 yards before he's touched, and that is the gain on 1st down for Kennedy.
That is a traditional, classic blast play from Kennedy that works very well. These kids run that play from the time they're 3rd graders to when they get to high school. So I want to see a little bit more of that.
Full house backfield look with Barber, a big battering ram leading the way. Same play, Marshall again with a big burst, spinning to the 2nd level, and he's inside the 25 with a 1st down, gain of 11. Kennedy might have found something with that blast play.
This is what they did when they were freshmen. And I was here when they were freshmen. They ran a lot of misdirection. 3 guys in the backfield. As you see, they give the fake, and then they get right in there, running misdirection plays and getting 1st down.
Kennedy nearing the red zone here early 2nd quarter, and Columbia Heights, I believe, has used its 2nd timeout.
2nd charge timeout, Columbia Heights.
And they have used their 2nd timeout. As you heard of the first half, they have Just one left. Let's get to our second senior spotlight for Kennedy, the guy who's carried the rock the last couple of plays for Kennedy. Zaire Marshall, 5'9", 155 pounds. His favorite football player is C.D. Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. His favorite coach on the team is the head coach, Kendrick Williams. His favorite football memory was hurdling someone. He doesn't know who it was, but he hurdled him. Player he respects most on the team is himself, Zaire Marshall. He's going to go to college, not sure where yet, next year. And he says something interesting about him is he says, "I'm the GOAT."
There's not a lot of kids nowadays that don't have confidence, I guess. That's a good thing. You got to have self-confidence.
Well, that's one of our keys to the game, playing with confidence. Kennedy certainly has done that so far through the first quarter plus. This offensive line is starting to generate confidence and generate running room for the running backs here.
I would say that maybe 3 out of 5 of those guys are seniors. You got to say they want to get the win tonight.
Full house look again. Zesh to throw on first down. Running out of time. Backward pass to Marshall. He'll try to get what he can. Ushered out of bounds at the 22-yard line, so he picks up a yard.
Good job by the offensive staff of being able to give him plays that are going to work for him. He was looking downfield and didn't have it, but then he was able to throw it to his short. So Zach was actually looking for something deep and couldn't get it, but had the presence of a mind to just move the pocket and just throw the ball to his check down, which in the past he would make a bad decision. So that was a good job by Zach Zish.
2nd and 9, Kennedy. They toss it, Marshall. Has to cut it back now, reverses field. Might have something, flag down though. Marshall stretching for the pylon. It's a touchdown, but it might come back. We'll check the flag, and Kennedy's sideline doesn't look like it's going to be a touchdown. They are not in celebration mode. And usually when that player reverses field like that,
Holding.
DJ, it's a lot easier to commit a holding penalty.
65. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd down.
So that'll wipe away the touchdown.
The Highlanders did a good job of trying to get to the point of attack first, but then after that, to be able to put your foot in the ground and go backwards, I don't know where the hold was. If that was the call, that is, I don't like that one because he's setting his feet and he's going the other way. So I don't know how that could have been a holding if the play is going the other way, but it is what it is, and you got to feel confident that you can get some more yards if you're Kennedy.
He had his arms up in the air. I don't know how you can hold someone with your arms extended toward the sky, but maybe the hold happened before that.
This is if Chris does not line up on the line, they're going to call another penalty.
2nd and 22, Zesh slings it out, and the pass caught. Dion Sherwood to the 29-yard line. Correction, that's Zaire Marshall. So it's a pickup of 6 that makes this 3rd down a little bit easier.
I'd love to understand what his reads are because that was a very tough throw to make. Doesn't even seem like Marshall is even turning his head around soon enough to get the ball. But nonetheless, it's a 3rd down and long.
They need 19. You're not going to punt it from the 29-yard line. So get a few more yards here. Try to go for it on 4th down. You'd think would be the game plan now for Kennedy. Zesh looking this way, wants the deep shot to Christopher Martin, and it's overthrown and incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know what the read is there. You got 2 guys next to Chris Martin, so I don't understand what he's reading. Lucky enough, he had the arm strength to throw that ball where nobody else could get it, but he's got to find a way to just throw to his reads and get somebody that's open.
And now Kennedy forced to basically try to get the whole chunk. Again, I mean, it'd be awkward to punt from the 29-yard line. You're not going to gain much field position, obviously. But now you need to take it all the way to the 10-yard line for a 1st down.
I mean, you know, you can try to get it all in one chunk. It's obviously 4th down. But what you don't want to do is make a decision that's going to hurt your team. You know, in the past, it had been a pick 6 that goes, and
First
now you're
charge
down.
timeout. Kennedy.
And your defense has to find a way to make up those points now. So he doesn't want to make those mistakes. So you got to have a play as an offensive coordinator that's going to help Zach make the correct plays and help this team. So it might just be, they don't necessarily get the first down, but, they gain good field position.
All right, a timeout for Kennedy as they talk about this fourth down. Let's get to another senior spotlight. Lavelle Miller, the guy going to Augsburg next year for Kennedy, number 1, 6'2", 190 pounds. His favorite football player, Jamal Adams. Loves to eat pizza, does Lavelle Miller. Favorite coach, he doesn't specify one. He says all of them. His favorite movie is the movie Friday. Favorite football memory is winning that homecoming game last year. Respects Marquez Monroe. We mentioned his plans for next year, play at Augsburg. Something interesting about Lavelle, he moved out of Bloomington for 3 years, but then moved back, and Kennedy's certainly glad that he did. Lavelle Miller, there he is for Kennedy. Hoping his offense can pick up a chunk play to convert this 4th and 19.
Columbia Heights in man coverage or man 2 here.
Zash sets, fires deep far side. He had a man open. It was Marshall at the goal line. It was a tight window, overthrown, and the Highlanders bow up. They will take over.
I got to give Zach credit. He put that thing in the window, man 2 coverage. If you're Marshall, you got to put your jets on. You can't jog this play. As Zach, I talked about his reads. He knew he wanted to go there. Look at him put that ball exactly where he needed to go. You cannot jog that play. You have to sell out. You do not have another opportunity to win on this field. You have to care, sell out, and go get that ball.
So we continue to be scoreless. 9.5 minutes left, first half. Columbia Heights takes over. Back to Emil Clark, and he is wrapped up in the backfield again. And it looked like Reichenberger Cooper again.
I got to give
Kamoji as well.
that credit right there. He's having a really good game tonight, too. Kennedy is just being physical. I felt like Columbia Heights had that opportunity to be physical at the point of attack because they ran really well last week. They put some points on the board. I felt like they would, but Kennedy seems to be a step ahead of Columbia Heights tonight.
Yeah, Kennedy's D-line is just winning right now.
And that's the only way to put it. That's the best way to put it. They're winning. That play right there by Columbia Heights was their bread and butter. That's what they run, and you've stopped it.
Another 2nd and long. Great situation for Kennedy. Showing blitz. On the roll, Rockwell, sorts of pressure. He's sacked again. A swarming group of Eagles, and Rockwell had no chance.
Kennedy is choosing to bring 6 every play. I think what they think is that if you're going to only put 2 guys in a route, we'll bring 6. We're potentially going to get to you somehow. They're betting that their guys in the defensive backfield can make the play.
I mean, can you give out like a 4th of a sack for all these guys that are in on that play right there?
You could, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not sure.
I've never heard of it, but point is, Kennedy flowing to the football right now. 3rd and 16. Inside handoff, Emil Clark trying to bounce it and does. Clark pushed out of bounds as Zaire Marshall got off a block, DJ, and forces Clark out of bounds short of the first down. A key play there from Marshall.
I like the play call, but I also like the hustle by the Kennedy Eagles being able to get to this play, go and see gap, bouncing it outside. If you see, Zaire Marshall does a really good job of forcing him outside, forcing him to have to give up his opportunity to gain the first down. It's now 4th, and they have to punt.
Gain of 13, but it comes up short of the marker as the punt again off the side of the foot. Columbia Heights, Kennedy wisely backs off as it's touched at the 50. That one just a 14-yard punt. Boy, I think if Matt Townsend, the head coach for Columbia Heights, knew it was going to be a 14-yard punt, he probably would have gone for it on 4th and 2. So Kennedy again gets it back, and again, good field position.
This is exactly what they want. Now they got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. They tried to throw the ball. Penalties kind of hurt. You don't want to have any of those plays. You're on the cusp of winning this game, maybe even right now, if you could put up a couple scores. because I don't see Columbia Heights doing too much else. So you got to be physical and put this ball in the end zone.
Zaire Marshall on the jet sweep. Nice cutback from Marshall. 45-yard line for Zaire, gain of 5.
And this has been kind of the Achilles heel for Kennedy. You know, you got guys standing around when you got a play like Zaire Marshall who can bust a play. We're going to just go ahead and take a look. Kind of a jet kind of play outside. And if you look, he's trying to keep going. Look how many guys you got standing around. You can't. He's going to bust this play. You got to go find someone to hit. You're not over with yet.
Play through that tee, right?
Yeah, to the tee of the whistle. That's the only way to do it.
Still a gain of 5 for Kennedy. Back to that full house look. Alisani wrapped up on a terrific play by William Catchmark, the senior defensive lineman for the Highlanders.
Now Kennedy had all that momentum, and you get complacent. That can't happen. This is where you have to have a leader in that huddle that's not going to let you put your head down and say, not tonight, not tonight. Somebody has to look each other in the face and say, nope, not tonight, guys. We're not going to put our heads down. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're getting this win.
It's only a loss of 1 with the forward progress from Alisani, so 3rd and 6 for Kennedy.
Empty look here, so you know it's possibly a passing situation.
5 wide for Kennedy.
Look for motion here.
Marshall on the motion, jet sweep, Zaire strung out wide and reverses field again and then tripped up. He had something going this side of the field, but just tripped up by the shoelace at the 50. He'll lose 4. Kennedy forced to punt again.
And that was an outstanding play by Columbia Heights. We talked about Zaire Marshall, his second play ability. What I mean by that is if you take away the first play, he's going to make another play out of it. So I felt like that was going to the house. Shoestring tackle.
Christopher Martin to punt.
Somebody offsides.
Snap on target. Martin checked this side of the field as if to say, maybe if someone's open, I'm going to throw it. This is a very good punt. And Marquez Monroe downs it at the 1.
That is beautiful. For a guy that's never punted before, they trust him. The call last week to go for the touch, that was Christopher Martin's call. The coaches told me. He had the check. So here's the last tackle trying to go outside, trying to find a hole to get into. Zaire bouncing it very quick.
Oh, what a heads-up play by 70 Spencer Alvarez, who is already on the ground reaching out, DJ.
And just making a shoestring tackle. Who knows? If he doesn't make that tackle, I'm telling you, that's 6 points Kennedy.
Always do what you can, even if you whatever position you are in the field. But how about Martin? 49-yard punt, no return. Columbia Heights at their 1-yard line. Long count here for Rockwell. It's Clark up the middle, and he'll get a couple positive yards out to the 4-yard line. So that gives them a little breathing room.
It's very hard to run the pulling guards and all those things down there when you're in what I call the black zone. It's very hard to run that stuff, so you just go straight forward. So you're probably cutting off Columbia Heights playbook at least 25%.
Clark had 24 yards on his first 3 carries. And other than that 13-yard run on that 3rd and 23, he's had 6 yards on his next 7 carries. So Kennedy's done a nice job on him. 2nd and 6, they go back to Clark, and that goes nowhere. Kennedy, did they steal the ball? They're gonna mark forward progress. Kennedy's in the end zone. Isaac Graham's with the football. See if we can take another look at it. The officials have marked no gain for Clark with forward progress apparently before the strip.
Trying not to be biased here, but it looked like a very quick forward progress whistle. Kennedy getting behind this offensive line.
Well, it's hard to tell from that angle. The ball is loose.
That ball was loose. That ball was loose.
Clark clearly not down. The only thing you could question was Was that forward progress stopped?
Officials timeout for injury.
Also have an injured Highlander player down. But certainly Kennedy there, an eyelash away. They've been several times blink of an eye away from a huge defensive play in this game. As we have this officials timeout with 3:42 left. Let's get to the next Kennedy Senior Spotlight. And it's the last of the Barbers, Dion Barber. 5'11", 215 pounds. His favorite football player is Trevor Lawrence. Favorite coach is Coach J-Rob. Coach Robinson. His favorite TV show is Blue Mountain State. Favorite football memory, going to the championship in 8th grade. He respects Isaac Grahams most on the team. And his plans for next year, play college football. He's not sure where yet, but I'm sure someone would love to have him. Dion Barber, the linebacker and battering ram for Kennedy.
Dion Barber, like you said, coming from a very long cast of Barbers. They played football here at Kennedy. A family that's very dedicated to each other. And it'd be nice to see Dion put the shoulder pads on some more and playing college football. Like I said earlier, he's a leader. He'll play wherever you put him. He'll just do his job.
I thought he was going to list his cousin Tyler Johnson as his favorite football player. Tyler Johnson of the Gophers and the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Number 5 out there on the flank.
3rd and 6, Columbia Heights. Toss, play, and Barber! Is it a safety? No, it's at the 1-yard line, but how about Dion Barber?
That is inspired football. We couldn't have called him out any better. Number 34. They give him another forward progress. I don't know how quick of a forward progress you could get. I'm just going to say it. This is a safety. You're taking this away from this kid. Watch him get inside, shoot the gap. Boom. I don't know how much forward he could have went. He went backwards. I would say he didn't even go forward. He went backwards. That's a horrible call. I'm sorry.
Punt from the end zone. Marquez Monroe splits defenders. Now running the wrong way for whatever reason. Trying to use that speed though, Marquez. A lot of running for maybe a 3-yard return, but it looked impressive. Kennedy takes over with their best field position inside the Highlander 30.
He's back there because he can make those plays, but he almost had to turn the play into something that he didn't have to. Marquez Monroe has the athleticism, turn it upfield, but sometimes you just got to just make the play what it is.
Almost trying to do too much there. Also coming up a little gimpy after that run.
Take a peek out on the field right now. Number 5, Rajon Walker.
Here we go, the sophomore checking in. It looks like under center, Rajon.
He has the best arm strength on the team.
He did attempt to pass earlier in the season. He will fake the handoff. Here's the speed of Rajon. Rajon Walker inside the 10 and a 1st and goal for Kennedy as he's all the way to the 6-yard line.
And that is just about putting your best playmakers on the field. Coach Kedrick Williams said, this year is about finding out who can play, who gives us the best chance to win. I'm going to go as far as say he is the best athlete on the field at that position. You can see it. I want him to tuck that ball in a little bit better.
Just going to make that point.
He has the potential. He can throw every route on the tree. I'm telling you right now, I said it the first time we were on air this year. This guy can throw it. He is the potential future at the quarterback position for the Kennedy Eagles.
Another injured Highlander. The injured player is E.J. Williams, one of the few seniors for Columbia Heights. It's a very young team. They play a lot of sophomores as well. Let's get to the next Kennedy Senior Spotlight. Brady Bean, number 80, plays on the offensive line and defensive line. The tall guy, 6'7". You can see him towering over the teammates. His favorite football player, Tom Brady, also a fan of pizza. favorite movie, The Shawshank Redemption. His favorite football memory, beating Jefferson in 9th and 10th grade. The player he respects most on the team is Deion Barber. And plans for next year, he wants to play college basketball. No surprise with that frame, Brady Bean. We're going to see him on the hardwood this winter for Kennedy. Number 80, the senior.
6'6" Brady Bean, named after Tom Brady.
I did not. Well, there you go. There's the connection right there to his favorite football player. First and goal for Kennedy, trying to take the lead late in the half.
Got to think that this is one of those gadgets and gotchas that coach had in his back pocket. Having a few packages for Rajon.
You can see all 11 Columbia Heights defenders right at the line of scrimmage. Fake handoff, Walker, same play as the previous one, but ran it to the weak side of the field. Ushered out of bounds, and a personal foul penalty upcoming. That will move the ball from about the 4-yard line to the 2. Make this goal to go a little bit easier and give Kennedy an extra play. It'll be a first down.
I got to give credit to number 3, Zaire Marshall. What we have to start changing as a culture at Kennedy is when you got a guy like that is making plays and he's putting his body on the line, all of the offensive line should have came over there and picked him off the ground. Everybody's got to come over there. And Zaire came up and picked this guy off the ground and said, we believe in you. I got to think that they want him to play there.
Late hit out. After.
Well, the ref might going in and out, but you can get the gist there. A late hit out of bounds.
Not necessarily knowing who to fake to, but he knew he was going to keep the ball. And right here, as the late hit comes, I'm sorry, you got to have 5, 6 other guys coming over there and making sure he's okay. This has to be a touchdown.
Second down.
There is no choice. You have no other option. Get this in the end zone.
They've made this a second down and goal from the 2 for Kennedy. See if they can get maybe to Barber here. Seems like his territory right by the goal line. Instead, Zaire Marshall cuts it up. Got down to the 1-yard line, not in though, so it'll be third down and goal from the 1. Has to be 4-down territory, right, DJ? Unless you lose maybe 10 yards or something disastrous.
Right. This is your season right here. As you can see, they're trying to get the ball to Zaire. I like your call, getting the ball to Barber. I think it goes right here, right now.
Quarterback sneak, it's going to work. It's going to be a touchdown. First of the career for Rajon Walker, and Kennedy on senior night has the lead late in the first half.
That was a culture swinging play right there. I'm telling you, number 5, if he can figure out how to be the leader of this team, there is a lot of potential right there in number 5.
I think caught Columbia Heights off guard a little bit, and then talk about the great push up the middle. The senior Isaac Grams, he did the work right there. 52 for Kennedy. Extra point is good.
And look what happens now. Kennedy is excited. They have the confidence. Sometimes you just need to put a guy back there that's just going to make plays. I'm telling you, the things that they want to do offensively with the RPO, they've tried RPO this year. They've tried zone read this year. They've tried so many different things. They took a step backward and said, okay, let's just try to figure out who can gain confidence. And now when you put a guy like him back there, you put a guy like Rajon back there, now you can take small steps forward again. I felt like that drive was a potential program changer.
Kennedy has the lead, and we've had some good timing here on these senior spotlights. Our next guy is Isaac Grams, the guy who just paved the way for that touchdown for Kennedy. The offensive lineman, 5'11", 190. His favorite football player is Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. Loves to eat buffalo wings. His favorite TV show is The Office. You can never go wrong there.
Oh, that's a great show.
Favorite football memory, summer workouts with the boys. He respects Lavelle Miller most on the team. He wants to wrestle next year in college. His goals for the season, pretty simple. Have fun, Isaac Grams. I think he had fun on that quarterback sneak for Kennedy.
It's always fun to put 6 points on the board.
And the touchdown for Kennedy comes at a critical time in this game. We'll explain on that in just a second after this kickoff. Pretty good kickoff where they kick it to Amir Clark. We'll see what number 6 can do. Clark out to the 35-yard line. Why this touchdown is so critical for Kennedy. Only 2:05 left in the first half, DJ. Just one timeout for Columbia Heights. Not a team that throws the ball that much. Plus, Kennedy gets the ball to start the second half. A big chance here. They can take the lead into the locker room. They would have all the momentum.
Yep, so the momentum changer by the score. You know what you might get. What you can't give up is a big play here. You cannot give up a big play. The important thing to do your job. Stay in your gaps. Don't overrun plays. Get guys on the ground, make tackles. Do not try to go for the ball or the strip. Just do your job.
2:05 left, one timeout. Matt Rockwell under center. They want the slant over the middle. It's on target. First completion of the game for Rockwell. And it's a gain of 12 for a first down. Actually, it was not Emil Clark on that return. It was Omari Walton Hunter, number 5. Clark not out there right now for Columbia Heights, as that pass caught by Isaiah Grissom.
Elijah Smith will know better. When you're in man coverage there, you cannot give up the inside. Got to have inside leverage.
We'll throw again, Rockwell. This one on target again to Oates. Oates using that stiff arm. Kennedy keeps him in bounds with the tackle by Zaire Marshall. So the clock on the move, approaching 90 seconds.
So Kennedy giving up what Columbia Heights does well is that intermediate passing game. They like to throw the quick hits. They like to throw the quick out. Kennedy not trying to give up the big play.
Clark still not on the field. Savion Harvey is the running back. Long count. Here's a deep ball up for grabs, and if it would have been more on target, it might have been a pick for Rajon Walker, as he was all over Isaiah Grissom. And it's third down now with 1:14. That stops the clock.
Walker doing a very good job reading the quarterback's eyes. Just being a player right there. That's bracket coverage. Being a corner and the safety on one receiver. So that's really good defense right there by Kennedy.
Going to be hard for Columbia Heights to complete a deep shot right now. Rockwell not the biggest of arms, and you've got Marquez Monroe and Rajon Walker patrolling back there.
Well, you don't have to. You just got to get the first down and get out of bounds.
You need 4 to get the first down. Rockwell rolling to his left, fires, man open, caught. Oates out of bounds with that first down. And Kennedy fortunate it's not a late hit. Trying to hold him up was Jesse Falk and convinced the officials enough that it wasn't a penalty, but a key pickup here for Columbia Heights that stops the clock with 1:09.
That's a very good job rolling out your quarterback. Like we said, you don't have to get it all in one chunk. Just try to get him in a position to gain the first down and get out of bounds. That's a good job of managing the clock by number 11. They run what's called a smash concept, where you got a corner route and you run the short route. You just take what they give. If they give you the short route, you throw it. If they give you the deep route, you throw it.
Still have the timeout available, and they're in Kennedy territory, are the Highlanders.
Blitz
Rockwell, Kennedy blitzing, Rockwell sacked, and now they might need to use that timeout.
I believe they only have one left.
They don't call it yet, probably.
If I'm Kennedy, maybe you call the timeout.
Well, we'll see. Kennedy has 2 left. Precious seconds evaporating right now for Columbia Heights.
If I'm Kennedy, I call the timeout, give myself an opportunity to score again.
Rockwell again, this time over the middle, caught. A completion short of the first down. Clock will continue to run. It's Walton Hunter on the catch, and now the Highlanders burn that timeout. But we're down now just 27.7 seconds left. They did pick
Third
up.
and final timeout.
I'm not sure why they decided to switch the corners. Elijah Smith switching with Marshall, leaving Walton Hunter on an island with him, and again, having him run the slant, giving up the inside. A lot of time going off the clock here.
Third and 3, now the Highlanders out of timeouts. Not sure about the kicking game for Columbia Heights. We haven't seen a field goal or an extra point attempted in this game, and I don't believe they have a field goal on the year.
Rajon Walker checking out that shoulder. It looks to be his throwing shoulder. He's put a stick out there on that tackle. If you're ready, somebody tell Rajon to tackle low and don't use that shoulder. But it's hard to do when you're just a player. You just played your whole life. So he's back there center field. He can make a play sideline to sideline.
Rockwell rolling left, runs out of room. That's going to keep the clock moving. Remember, Columbia Heights without a timeout. That's a key stop for Kennedy as he's short of the first down. And now it's fourth down. They can't clock it. Wonder if Columbia Heights knows this. Rockwell does snap it. Wants the deep ball, and it is incomplete. But a flag with 3.9 left.
I'm sorry, I have to say this every week. This kid, number 23, makes college plays back here. He is making plays. I do not know why these calls are being made against him. He's very aggressive, but he is not making bad plays in the defensive backfield. I'm sorry. He is making plays. These are college plays. This kid's going to get recruited one day.
I totally agree. Did not see where this pass interference would have happened, but it gives Columbia Heights, if it is PI, gives them new life here to attempt a field goal or maybe take one more shot into the end zone.
He does a very good job of being physical. He has 5 yards to touch the guy. So what, the guy couldn't get off the dang
defense.
That's a bad call. That's a bad call.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That's an emotional
results in the first
call.
down.
And I'm trying to be very patient, but I'm sorry. You have to tell me where the pass interference is.
His arm goes in there and it actually breaks it up.
Marquez, still put that play on your huddle, man. Keep it on your huddle. You did a good job. You're well coached. That was a great play.
Boy, and it gives Columbia Heights a chance here with 3.9. Don't see any kickers out on the field. They're going to try to go to the end zone, are the Highlanders.
Well, this is where Kennedy just has to not feel sorry for themselves and just make a play. Yeah, it was a bad play, but you got to make it right.
So final play of the half, barring a penalty. Rockwell looking over the defense. From the 18, sets up over the middle, and it's swatted away as the clock does hit triple zeros.
That is the end of the first half.
And we've reached the end of the first half, so the penalty doesn't hurt Kennedy. As they get off the field, Rajon Walker slow to get up. He may have collided with Zaire Marshall there on that pass breakup. Take a look at the final play here, DJ.
This ball's up for grabs. As a quarterback sees someone open, he saw him late. Very good job to try to swat this ball down by Jesse Falk. Got to give a lot of credit to the energy of the Kennedy Eagles. Columbia Heights doing a very good job of moving the ball. That last penalty, didn't go Kennedy's way, but they found a way to get the stop. They have all the momentum going into the half.
Yeah, nice play there by Jesse Falk to make sure that was incomplete. Rajon Walker, by the way, up, walking unassisted toward the Kennedy huddle. Both teams not, due to COVID-19, keeping halftime activities outside, not inside the locker rooms here at Bloomington Stadium. So a good first half for Kennedy. They get the only touchdown of the half and lead it here on senior night 7-0. As we'll take our halftime break and be back for the second half. Kennedy leading Columbia Heights here on BEC-TV. Back at Bloomington Stadium for the second half of senior night, and so far so good for Kennedy. They lead Columbia Heights 7-0. Alongside our crew, alongside DJ Moffitt, Josh Powers with you on this beautiful November night. I can hardly believe it's November with temperatures in the mid-70s today, right now in the mid-60s. It is amazing weather, and Kennedy doing its part to continue the good vibes throughout the stadiums. They lead 7-0. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. First quarter defensive struggle for both teams. 14 Kennedy seniors playing their final home game, trying to get that first win of the year. Columbia Heights almost disaster on a few occasions. Emil Clark got back to the line of scrimmage, but it was very risky on that play. Then Kennedy found the run game, DJ, with plays like that to Zaire Marshall.
Zaire Marshall did a pretty good job for a little bit, but then Kennedy ended up doing a good job of stopping him. 13 carries, 42 yards so far.
It's a completion to Marshall from Zach Zesh. He was 2 out of 5 for 7 yards. They didn't need much on the through the air from him. Emil Clark, this is his longest carry, but it came on a 3rd and 23, so even with the 13 yards, he was well short. Marshall ran him on a couple jet sweeps, trying to use that speed. Columbia Heights did a pretty good job defensively most of the half, but Kennedy's defense with Dion Barber got the Eagles back with good field position, and then it was Rajon Walker.
Yes, putting him in the game, gave the Kennedy Eagles a little spark. He gets outside, he's trying to gain yards. They did a pretty good job of stopping him, but he ended up finding a way, getting the ball in the end zone on the QB sneak. Kennedy goes up 7-0.
He was able to follow Isaac Grams into the end zone for the touchdown. Came with just over 2 minutes left in the first half. The Highlanders made it all the way down near Kennedy's red zone, then Kennedy turned them away.
Kennedy finding a way to get stops. It was not easy. The Highlanders were making a drive. They had the ball inside on the red zone, but they found a way to make stops collectively.
Kennedy also has the option, and they should receive that option or cash in on that option to receive the second half kickoff. So Kennedy figures to get the ball back as well to start the second half. You kind of get the feeling, DJ, important possession for Kennedy. If they were to go down the field and score a touchdown here, obviously still a long way to go, but the way Kennedy's defense has been playing tonight, that'd be a tall task for Columbia Heights.
Columbia Heights right now, total yards from scrimmage, 62. So the defense is playing really well. It'll be interesting to see if they put Rajon Walker back in at quarterback to kind of get some more of a spark because they like what they saw, or if you put him in a package every once in a while. I don't know how comfortable they feel. But if Kennedy can score here, they get the momentum, it will be very tough for them to come back, for Columbia Heights to come back.
You mentioned 62 total yards for Columbia Heights. 24 of those came on the first 3 plays on 3 runs from Emil Clark. And then he was basically shut down the rest of the half. He finishes the half with 13 carries for 43 yards, just over 3 yards per carry, and that factors in some of those early runs. So Kennedy tightening the screws. We mentioned our keys to the game, slow down the Columbia Heights run. Certainly Kennedy's defense has done that.
Well, if you do find a positive for the Highlanders, is they had 8 third downs and converted 4 of them. So you know you can convert. It's just about staying consistent, running the ball, and I think a lot of those conversions might have happened in that first drive of the first quarter. Since then, it hasn't been much.
Another thing to keep our eye on, Emil Clark was not out there for Columbia Heights' last series. Now they figured to throw the ball a lot in that series. Maybe that's why he wasn't out there, but we'll certainly keep our eye on that. He has so much of what they do offensively. And he has more yards than Columbia Heights has thrown for this year by more than 200. And he's more than 400 yards better than the second leading rusher for Columbia Heights. So if he is not available for the second half, it even makes the task tougher, especially if Kennedy were to get one more score.
Yeah, I understand. He's your whole offense, and you want to do your team justice by not necessarily putting him out there in a situation where you're not going to necessarily give him the ball. Maybe he's not a downfield catcher, but you at least have to have him out there as a decoy. He at least has to be used as a threat, even if you're not using him to give him the ball.
Here's the kick from Austin Helmers. Little razzle-dazzle on the fake sweep, and it's Marquez Monroe with just the kicker to beat. Oh, he throws him aside. Rajon Walker, touchdown.
That is the
Or
spark you
correction,
need.
Marquez Monroe. Sorry, DJ. But how about he just tossed the kicker, Austin Helmers, aside like a rag doll? Marquez Monroe makes a house call on special teams.
We've seen the special teams come into play where Marquez Monroe can make plays, and this is who he is as he gets one more player to beat, throwing him down, beast mode style, getting the ball in the end zone. Touchdown, Kennedy.
I love how he didn't really seem aware that the kicker was there. Then he picks him up in the vision and just kind of brushes him aside. Obviously, the kicker, Helmers, is 5'6", 135 pounds. Not necessarily a fair fight, but still.
Right, he came out of nowhere. He could have made the tackle, but Rajon Rondo. You got me messing up now. Marquez Monroe doing a very good job of being strong. That's who he is, though. That's why they have him back there. That's why they have him do punt return and kick returns. A couple years ago, we didn't do punt returns. He's a big-time player. He's going to make plays all over the field. This guy is a future college athlete.
Remember when Kennedy scored on their first home game of the season on that kickoff return by Zaire Marshall? It was another fake end around. This time it went to the near side of the field instead of the far side of the field. Look at Marquez Monroe one more time, DJ.
And I love this. Matt Hamilton, the special teams coordinator, he has done a very good job with this group. They practice this often. And they do a lot of faking and they do a lot of giving in that backfield of the kick return. You never know what you're going to get. You have to honor it. And that time, it paid off.
Well, you don't want to be tackled by the kicker, especially when you got 40-plus pounds and about a half of a foot in height on him. And Marquez Monroe.
I don't care who you are. You get tackled by the kicker, you're getting roasted in the film session. I don't care. I'd have did it as
Now,
a
if your
coach.
kicker's Christopher Martin, that
True.
might be a different
That
story.
might be a
But
different story.
Austin Helmers, again, 5'6", 135 pounds. That's truly that kicker size usually, and Marquez Monroe made no mistake. So Kennedy now gets that 2-score lead. And the return to the 37-yard line is Alasani in on that tackle for Kennedy.
So now the Highlanders get the ball. They had an opportunity to score. They couldn't. They show that they can pass the ball a little bit. Their main passing opportunities come in the short and intermediate game. They want to get the quarterback out on the edge, and they want to throw to those little corner areas or throw the short routes. Kennedy proved that they could make stops when the ball's over the middle. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to stop the short passing game? Because I don't think I see number 6 in that backfield.
He is not out there. It's Savion Harvey, the running back. Kennedy showing blitz here up the middle. Harvey, first carry goes nowhere. And boy, if they are truly without Emil Clark, and it looks like that is the case.
Yes, he does not have his shoulder pads on. He is on the sideline with his shoulder pads off.
Well spotted by you. You can see him over there on the sideline, Emil Clark. Coach Kedrick Williams talked about him on Inside Kennedy Football, such a key to what Columbia Heights does. Apparently not available for the second half, and now with a 2-score lead, Kennedy is pinning their ears back. Reichenberger, Cooper, or that's actually Ludman Kamoji, breaking through in a big way.
You got to be licking your chops right now if you're Kennedy. You can put this game away with a stop and another score very early.
2nd and 11 after a loss. Rockwell fade this side, overthrew his man, Isaiah Grissom. He was open. Kennedy relaxed a little bit on the coverage on 2nd and long, but they weren't able to find the connection.
These are the short West Coast passing game that you get from him. You see a lot of West Coast stuff. The 49ers used to do a lot of stuff under center, 1, 2, 3, throw the ball, get it out quick. That's a tough throw to make when you're trying to go from the middle of the field out to the numbers. You got to be poised. I don't think that a lot of people can do it. And Matt Rockwell at 5'11", you know, it's a very tough throw. He's actually the size I was in high school. Same weight and everything. So.
Rockwell 4 out of 9 for 35 yards. All 4 of those completions came on the last drive of the half, though. Going to need one here, you'd figure, on 3rd and long. Rockwell rolling left again. Sets up. Fires it, and is intercepted! Zaire Marshall with the game's first turnover. Kennedy nearly had about 3 of them in the first half, and I thought for a moment like Marshall was going to let that one slip through his hands, but he latches on for the pick.
And that's a very good job by Kennedy Eagles. The Highlanders again running the smash combination to the left side. This time Rockwell deciding to hitch up, throw the ball, not throw the ball short. He looked to throw it to the deeper route as they were running a scramble coming back. And Zaire Marshall, being the athlete that he is, getting the interception for the first turnover, which could turn the tides, the energy back to Kennedy again, and this could be the nail in the coffin.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Kennedy, number 3. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Kennedy.
And that's a penalty that not going to be well received by the coaching staff. You make a big interception, just let that speak for itself.
Yeah, and even if you are going to celebrate with your team and do it on the sideline. You know, this is a different day and age. Kids love to do the TikTok dances.
Does push Kennedy back, still starting in Columbia Heights territory. Saeed Al-Hassani didn't get many touches past the first quarter. He had 6 carries for 38 yards, a pretty healthy average of over 6 per touch, and he gets 4 here on first down.
Yeah, he does a really good job of keeping his momentum forward for his size, keeping his legs running. They definitely want to use him in moderation. This line has to continue to block forward. They cannot stop blocking. They have to keep pushing.
Dion Barber with a flag down. Again in the area of holding. Barber is about a yard short of the marker.
They picked the marker up and then moved it forward. I don't know what that was for, but. Looks like Dion Barber on the ground.
10-yard penalty from the for the foul. Second down.
What was the call? Was it holding?
Holding on Kennedy, their 5th penalty. Barber back up for Kennedy, walking off under his own power.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound like a homer, but I don't see where the holdings are coming from. The refs are seeming to be very quick with the whistle, but if you are Kennedy, you have to adjust. If they're being quick with the whistle, maybe you just be a little bit more physical, get your hands inside more, be a little bit more precise at your point of attack with your feet, and continue to be physical.
Bubble screen, Zaire Marshall stops at midfield, reverses field again, trying to find a seam, an alleyway. When a couple flags fly, this might be a face mask as Marshall with more laundry there. Now there's 4 flags, good heavens. We might have multiple penalties here. Marshall got down to the 42-yard line. It was a gain of 12.
Yeah, you hate to not finish this thing out with an opportunity and give the Highlanders an opportunity to get back into this game. You got to be disciplined. There is no reason why there's this many penalties when you have the chance to close the game out.
One to me looked like a face mask on the end of the run, but then you're wondering if those extra couple of flags at the end came in for maybe a Kennedy unsportsmanlike, which would nullify that flag.
Well, I saw Jackson fall to the ground after the whistle. Maybe it was a late hit after the play. I'm not sure. As you can see, Kedrick Williams is deciding to be the leader right now. It has to be somebody in that huddle as well that's going to say, this is unacceptable, let's get it right. I don't know what the call is necessarily. They might have been calling, because remember earlier when Zaire Marshall was putting the foot in the ground and cutting back, Kennedy hustling to make plays. Those plays are tough to make because you remember they're trying to get away from the crackback blocks. And I remember a few years ago when I was coaching, we would practice just putting your hands up and getting in the way. Not necessarily, we would teach them to show your hands. To show your hands and not necessarily show any malicious
Personal
intent.
foul. Illegal blindside block.
That's it.
Offense, number 54. After the play, personal foul. Defense, Number 73. Be second down, Kennedy.
There's the crackback block right there. That looked to be a good call. And again, it's not necessarily you're not hitting them from the back or hitting them from the side. You're hitting them while someone's turning direction. And exactly what you mentioned a moment ago, DJ, where you put your hands up in the air and get in the way. That's exactly what the NCAA and really all levels of football are wanting to be taught now.
You just have to do a better job and be cognizant and say that they're trying to take that play out of the game.
So 2nd and 10 after all of that. Kennedy backed up 5 yards from the end of the run from Marshall, and now it'll be 3rd down after a gain of 2. Watch 54 right here. Again, you see the player looking the other way and then hit, especially up high, and that's going to be thrown every time.
I'd have to say, though, Jackson is in front of the defender. He is not behind the defender. So I don't see it as being a blind side if he's not in the defender's blind side. That's where I would argue that. Jackson is in a position. Now, what he has to do is not use his shoulder and not use his head. He has to use his hands or show his hands is the way to do it. I think he was in good position. He just showed malicious intent.
3rd down, Alasani not going to pick up the 1st down. So the Columbia Heights defense gets a critical stop for them. It's a gain of a yard, 4th down for Kennedy.
Great design by the play, but you have to finish the play. You can't necessarily have your guy out there on the island. If you look, 84, Christopher Martin, he doesn't have anybody block. He whiffs, and now he just turns around. That can't happen. You have to put a hat on the hat and know where you're going at the point of attack. You left your running back hanging, and now it's 4th down.
Martin, the punter. 2 return men deep for Columbia Heights.
And anything can happen. They could take this back for 6. Every play counts.
Good snap, Martin. Not the distance he necessarily wanted. Takes a good bounce, though. That'll give Kennedy an extra 10, 12 yards of field position as it rolls dead at the 18-yard line. So a 27-yard punt, no return. Columbia Heights back on offense. And to echo your point, DJ, it might take something of a defensive or a special teams play to get Columbia Heights back in this game, because Kennedy's been locking down the Columbia Heights running game, especially now with Clark out.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else in your playbook right now or anything or anybody else that you can go to. You've shown that, you know, what's most important to you is the run game, and now you have to figure something else out.
Savion Harvey up the middle, and Harvey with his best run out to the 26-yard line, gain of 6. Harvey came in to the game with just 5 attempts on the year for 20 yards, being pressed into duty with the injury to Clark.
Well, I've also seen on film they use Amari Walton, Hunter, you know, at times. You know, they've used Jonathan Hackett sometimes in the backfield. They have other guys. It's just when you got a guy as good as Emil Clark, you really don't want to go anywhere else because he's all your offense.
Harvey, just a sophomore, 5'7", 140 pounds.
Way to shoot the gap. Oh, they just missed him.
Harvey up the
That's
middle.
a
Fumble! Kennedy looks like they have it. As long as it's ruled a fumble, it should be Eagle ball.
I'm not sure. I don't think they got to it quick enough. Okay.
Kennedy clearly has it. Jesse Falk, and it is Eagle ball.
Big time play. That looks like Schletty.
Actually, it was not Falk. It was Corey Bartholomew, the sophomore, pouncing on it.
They do a very good job shooting the gap. Overplayed it, though, but way to not stop the senior, Lavelle Miller, pulling that ball out. The defense comes through again. This defense has been playing really well this whole game.
Back-to-back turnovers for Kennedy. What a strip there from Lavelle Miller. Toss.
This is good leverage. This is, oh, one more block.
They missed the block on the edge. Marshall turning the wrong direction again. Zesh gets in the way for a block. Marshall still on the move. Zaire Marshall All the way with the
another
late
penalty.
flag, though.
There's another. This can't happen.
It would have been a 33-yard touchdown.
I said it earlier. They have to be disciplined and make the right decisions if they're going to win the game. Number 3 is a big-time player. He is the human joystick. He's going to put the ball in the end zone if you give him a shot. Somehow we got to learn from our mistakes.
You can see this flag well downfield at about the Columbia Heights 15-yard line.
And it makes me wonder what they're looking for. What's the criteria? If I'm Kedrick Williams, I'm asking, so what do I teach my team?
Holding. Offense. Number 34. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Results in the 1st and 10, Kennedy.
I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know how you can find a hold through all this. Yeah, you could have fast forwarded. You could have kept going. You tell me where you find the hold.
Let's see.
That's a very good job, just getting in the way. Everybody, I'm not sure where the hold is or if a guy could have made a play.
Can't tell from there.
That's
in the direction, that's exactly where the flag was thrown there. It is a first down for Kennedy at the 22. Marshall, this time the change of direction doesn't work. He's wrapped up for a loss at the 26. He can't get too greedy on all these plays, DJ. We've seen it work a couple of times, but then penalties have hindered it. And, you know, more importantly, against maybe better defenses, it's hard to make those full field change of direction plays.
Yeah, it can kind of bite you in the butt. It's high risk, high reward plays is what we like to call it. So usually if a player has that ability, you know, like a Barry Sanders or something like that, you don't usually have a problem with him doing it because most of the time he's going to make somebody miss. But you're going to have to live with the decision.
2nd and 13, loss of 3. Alisani up the gut. That's more what Kennedy's looking for. Alisani to the 18-yard line, pickup of 8. It makes this 3rd down a whole lot easier.
That's a very good job by this offensive line being able to push forward. I'd like to see number 3, you know, he's out there like he's Randy Moss a little bit and didn't want to block downfield. What about you when you're blocking extra hard, when you're running extra hard? You got to continue the blocks. Alisani running his tail off. Especially if you're senior, you got to be a leader. Don't just play hard when the ball's in your hand.
51 yards now for Alisani. 3rd down, and a drop snap by Zesh. He has enough wherewithal to fall on it. Didn't try to pick it up, which was the smart move from Zesh, but it's a loss back to the 29, and now it's 4th down.
Yeah, he's got to do a better job of meshing. He struggled with that this year. He lets the ball get in too close to him. He's trying to hurry up and catch the ball and spin it and throw it and all those things. He's just got to lock his eyes on receiving that ball, gripping it, and then going. Sometimes being the quarterback, you think about everything but just catching the ball in the shotgun or under center. You're worrying about, okay, do I step this way? Where's the defense? You think about any other different thing. Sometimes you just got to calm yourself down and just make the game simple.
4th down, Kennedy going to go for it here again from inside the 30.
That's
over the
ball.
middle. They had a man open, and the pass was low to Luke Dozian. He couldn't make the catch. Would have been short anyway, but maybe a better thrown ball. Dozian had a chance to run for that 1st down.
Yeah, I originally thought he was going to throw a good ball. Traditionally, he kind of hangs it a little bit, but that was a good read. He just short-armed it. You got to have confidence. You got to throw that ball. Your team needs you.
So Columbia Heights, back-to-back turnovers. Kennedy can't extend the lead, though, but now we're down to under 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
You know, Coach talked about playing with confidence. I know this defense has extreme confidence right now, but all it takes is 1 or 2 plays for this thing to start bouncing back and going into Columbia Heights' way. They have switched running backs.
Still not Clark, though. Out for the remainder of this game. Long count by Rockwell. Handoff and a burst up the middle for Jonathan Hackett. Coming into the game, that's why I was surprised to see Savion Harvey, and after that last fumble, that might be the last time we see Harvey. Hackett, 32 carries, 105 yards coming in to the game tonight. That's his first carry of the night, and it goes for a first down.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Townsend. I said, other than Clark, who's your other back? And this is who he told me. He told me Jonathan Hackett can carry the ball. And, we hadn't seen it quite yet. And, again, we didn't understand why, but I noticed that they had him back there that play.
Hackett stays in there from the 43, a 1st and 10 for the Highlanders. Back to Hackett. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a half yard as he fell forward. That's it. Lumen Kamoji in there for Kennedy.
You can see they're having trouble with their mesh again as well. There's a different running back there, so he doesn't know how to hand it off. That space there is very, very, that's a scary space to have when you're trying to handle that ball. That's potential for a fumble. Lucky enough, the running back decided to come back to the ball, get the handoff. And now it's about 2nd and 9.
Rockwell 4 out of 10, including an interception. He'll pitch it to Hackett, and he is met head on. What a play by Lavelle Miller. Read that like a book. It's a big loss all the way back to the 40.
Yeah, that was kind of a quick pitch. We call this speed option. They go speed option to the right. They're going to leave one defensive end unblocked. And sometimes if you leave him unblocked, he just ends up getting there.
Third and long now. They need 13 yards.
Look for them to boot him left and run some more smash route, short, long concept. Here it is.
Rockwell to the left, and it's batted away. Jesse Falk with textbook coverage. There's a flag down in the area of holding. Boy, Josh Malinowski has to like that play by Falk. Had the guy covered, you batted away with that left hand.
Holding. Offense. Number 51. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Kennedy, of course, declines the penalty as it's 4th down, and here comes the punt unit. Watch Falk here.
Again, booting out. They like to boot him to his left. Falk doing a very good job. No pass interference, gets his hands in the right position, batting the ball down.
High snap. That was an excellent job by Helmers. Remember, he's only 5'6". He climbed the ladder and got off a pretty darn good punt as well. Rolls dead at the 18, so inches away from a special teams disaster. Helmers not only grabs that snap, but then delivers a 42-yard punt with no return.
The seniors got to know that they got to smell blood. They got to want to carry it home. I noticed that a lot of the plays are being made tonight by seniors, especially on defense. Especially on defense. A lot of the plays that are being made are by the seniors.
So Kennedy takes over, still leading by 2 touchdowns, 2:28 left, 3rd quarter. Backed up for the first time in a bit inside their own 20. And they're going to be further backed up. William Catchmark, his 2nd tackle for loss.
Penalty on the play. They might get him for excessive. The refs are being very tight on things tonight.
They are.
But that was a very good job by Columbia Heights shooting the gap.
Kennedy backing up like they believe this penalty is on them.
I believe they're just getting into the huddle, going to the next play.
Face mask. Offense. Number 3. That's fine.
They called the face mask on the runner.
Wow. You don't see that often.
If we can go back and see that maybe some other time, maybe after this play, that was, I don't think I've ever heard of a face mask on the runner.
Well, Columbia Heights will gladly take the loss of 5 yards and decline the penalty. So second down, big hole. They lost the ball though, Alisani did. Columbia Heights has it.
And these are the plays. This is what we're talking about. Being undisciplined, things start to break away.
First turnover of the night for Kennedy. Alisani just dropped it.
He had the ball and just dropped it.
Come on, boy. Come on.
And with Columbia Heights with under 100 yards of total offense, really the only way they could get back in this game.
Into this game right here, despite not having a great game.
So now the pressure on the Kennedy defense. Rockwell hands it off up the middle to Hackett. Not much there.
You know, Rockwell does a pretty good job with his hard count. I'd continue it. You know, I would continue to see if you can't get even closer with your hard count.
2-yard gain for Hackett on an important series for Columbia Heights. Certainly 4-down territory here.
This is where your seniors got to step up again. They've been stepping up all night. You got to have pride. This is where you got to have pride. You got to say, you know what? We've been pitching a shutout. We've been pitching a shutout the whole game. We're not letting you in the end zone. This is where I think the character building of Coach Kedrick Williams should come into play.
Hackett single setback, 2nd and 8. Up the middle, Hackett, nowhere.
Looming Kamoji with the tackle going down the line of scrimmage. He ended up being unblocked because of the pulling guard. And he had enough of a motor to chase the play. That is coaching. If the guard leaves, you got to feel, and the play is going to come your way. As you see, he just comes right downhill and makes that tackle. Good job by Lumen.
That's knowing the offense and playing with that confidence. It gives you the aggressiveness to go after that play. So Kamoji, no gain, and now it's 3rd and 8, final minute of the 3rd quarter.
Interesting to see if they don't take a shot here. Rolling out the quarterback, trying to play to some leverage, maybe throw the ball to the pylon.
Columbia Heights burns a timeout with 23.3.
First starts timeout. Columbia Heights.
Their first timeout of the second half before an all-important 3rd down and maybe a 4th down here for the Highlanders. Let's get to our next Kennedy Senior Spotlight. It's number 12, Kyle Schleddy. 6'1", 160 pounds. His favorite football player is Dion Barber. Favorite coach is Coach Jay Robinson. His favorite football memory was winning the 4th grade championship. The player he respects most on the team is Lavelle Miller. And he's gonna go to college next year, and like most at this time, not sure where yet. That's Kyle Schleddy, number 12, senior for Kennedy.
Is there a reason why is the question, who's their favorite football player? Is that supposed to be a guy on the team?
It could be anybody. It's not specified. Most of the time, we get an NFL player usually is the favorite player.
Yeah, I was wondering why they ain't picking NFL guys, but maybe kids don't watch football now.
Because we also have a question of who you respect most on the team, so that kind of takes care of maybe a teammate you like.
Yeah.
Well, here we go, 3rd down. And they can get a 1st down at the 1. Rockwell on the move, throwback. They've got it.
I don't know if he was in front of the line of scrimmage though.
Jonathan Hackett, some trickery for Columbia Heights, with a chance to cut the lead in half.
We talked about it. Somebody's got to have a ace in the hole. Somebody's got to have a trick play, a screen play, something to throw this other team off. I'd love for them to, well, it's not like you can really throw the challenge, but I'd like to see if he was across the line of scrimmage with that throw.
See, he's going back quite a ways. I don't think he was across the line at all.
Oh, that was very close. That was very close.
Jonathan Hackett, now the extra point to cut the lead to 7. It's good, just inside the upright for Austin Helmers, and Columbia Heights gets a gift. Alasani drops the ball, takes a trick play, but the Highlanders find the end zone, and now it's just a 1-score lead.
And they got to do better here with their body language. Just, the game's not over, you're winning. This is where somebody has to keep them up. This is great scheme here. Very good scheme. If you watch this on film, this is what they do well. That was close to being across the line of scrimmage. That was very close.
And they had the blockers set up perfectly. Also caught Kennedy a little overloading to the strong side of the field, which also helped.
You haven't heard from this crowd all night, and now they score, and it's getting lively.
Well, it's a game again.
It's a game now.
Kennedy, not saying they had it put away, but
they had chances. There was a lot of chances.
Two consecutive turnovers in Columbia Heights territory. They took over and could not get points out of either of those drives, and then they give it away.
Penalties,
how quickly things can change.
Being undisciplined, bad decisions. You know, I know I was critical of the rest, but you still got to learn from it and get better.
Kennedy has to be on alert, too, for a possible onside. It doesn't happen this time. Picked up Marquez Monroe already with one return for a touchdown. This time upended by Spencer Alvarez at the 38-yard line.
So you just turn the ball over in your territory. Who's going to be that guy in the huddle to say, you know what, we're all right, guys. Come on, let's go. You know, you got Jesse Falk in there. You got Lumen in there. You got seniors in there that can say, hey, you know what, we're going to get this thing done. Don't worry about it. Somebody has to be a leader and step up tonight.
Figures to be the final play of the third quarter.
Marquez Monroe under center or at quarterback.
You've seen Rajon Walker, now Marquez wants to throw. Cuts upfield, Marquez. And he's to the 44-yard line. A nice pickup of 9 as we end the third quarter. So the good for Kennedy was a kickoff return touchdown to start the third quarter, but the bad was that fumble by Alasani right at the end of the quarter, and then the trick play touchdown for Columbia Heights as we've reached the end of 3, 14-7. Kennedy with the lead. Let's get to our next Eagle Senior Spotlight. He's had a great game tonight. Lumen Kamoji on the offensive and defensive line. His favorite football player, DJ, Ray Lewis. There you go. NFL Hall of Famer. Favorite food is pizza. I think everybody on this team basically put pizza.
You can't go wrong.
His favorite coach on the team is also Jay Robinson. The player he respects most on the team, Dion Barber. He has been a popular answer to that question. Goals for the season, wants to win. Well, they're a quarter away from getting their first win of the season tonight. He wants to play college football next year. Not sure where yet. So there you go, Lumen Kamoji. He's made his fair share of key plays in this one. Wants to do a little run blocking here on 2nd and a yard as we start the fourth quarter. They'll throw though, the bubble to Marshall, and the pass was low, and it's probably better that that was incomplete because Marshall likely would have had to go to a knee to catch it. Would have been a loss.
Gotta love the scheme there. The way Columbia Heights is playing it. Guarding number 2, you gotta be able to put that ball on the money and hit a strike.
Especially on 2nd and 1, you know you have a 3rd and 1 if that somehow didn't work, and it didn't. Zesh, pretty easy QB sneak right there. It's gonna be a 4-yard gain actually, 5-yard gain on a QB sneak. First down, Kennedy. So the ground game is so successful for Kennedy a week ago against St. Croix Lutheran in that loss. It's continued here tonight.
Kennedy has controlled this whole game for the majority of the game. You could almost say even the mistake that they made in their end zone was because, you know, they made that mistake. They got to continue to. There you go.
There's
Nice
the
one-on-one.
On target,
Just
Zaire
make the
Marshall. That is an excellent job of surrounding him. That's the quarterback, Matt Rockwell. We mentioned his dancing a little bit. You don't need a home run on every play, DJ. Sometimes Zaire, go get your 4 yards, your 5 yards. Instead, it's a loss on the play of 3.
Well, if you're him, you're saying, well, you guys love it when I take it and I send it and I almost score a touchdown and I go 40 yards. So it's hard to break the habit when, like I said, it's high risk, high reward. So you got to take the good with the bad. But I think with Zaire, you just got to know when to do it. You know, if you're matched up with a safety, oh, they're falling apart right now. If you're matched up with a safety and you're in the slot.
All-star. Offense. Number 54. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
You gotta think, Zaire, okay, my speed versus the safety speed, I'm gonna win. If I go north and south, science says I'm gonna win the game. I'm gonna win that matchup.
8th penalty on Kennedy.
Discipline and decision making.
Second and 18 now, all the way back to the 42. Al-Hassani wrapped up for a loss. It's William Catchmark again. He has been a menace for the Highlanders.
He is doing an outstanding job of getting behind that line, being physical. He looks like a throwback kind of player,
He looks
too.
like someone on that TV show Highlander from back in the 90s with that hair.
He looks like AJ Hawk or something. He looks like a throwback player. That's a good blitz. Shooting the gap. Wrapping up. Highlanders got the momentum right now.
3rd and 22. Marquez Monroe back in the Wildcat. Can't imagine you'd have him throw here. He wants to, he's looking. Now gonna tuck and run, picks up a block from Martin. And look at Marquez Monroe! On 3rd and 22, somehow picked up 23.
Big time players make big time plays, and this is a big time game. He could have thrown the ball. There was guys open. I like his decision. If you're gonna trust anybody with the football, trust yourself.
What a backbreaker for the Highlanders. You got all the receivers covered. All you've got to do is bring down Marquez Monroe, but easier said than done.
I still hope he carries that ball on the outside next time. I just keep saying that. It's killing me.
Fresh set for Kennedy. What a huge play that was. Back to Al-Hassani. Got to the 2nd level before being wrapped up as Kennedy now can work on this 4th quarter clock.
That's a strong physical run. They have wristbands. I wonder if they can go tempo here, kind of wear these guys down as they just go zone to the right. That was a very physical run by Al-Hassani.
Catchmark again on the tackle.
Well, I don't know what happened here. Only 10 guys huddled. I mean, excuse me, only 9 guys huddled there.
Dion Barber headed down and heads the first down at the 25-yard line. So Kennedy now getting some chunks going in the right direction. That's a gain of 8.
I don't know. I'm not sure why only 9 guys are huddling.
It is strange.
It could tip run. You know, it could tip your play.
Back to Barber, this time stacked up You'd think it would tip run because the two guys not huddling are wide receivers.
Yes.
So if they're not, and it also might tip if it's a throw, what side of the field the throw is going to be on.
That's my point. I mean, you know, I'm trying not to be very critical. These are young kids that, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do, and maybe the coaches are okay with it. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on. But, you know, at some point in time, you know, Aristotle says you do the right things because they're the right thing to do, you know? That's your philosophy for today.
I like it. I've learned something on this broadcast. Thanks to DJ Moffitt. So 2nd and 10, Kennedy. Bubble screen, Marshall. This time he plants his foot, heads upfield, and he's going to fire in the end zone. Touchdown, Kennedy!
Once again, big-time players showing up when it matters.
He's been caught dancing a few times tonight. Running about 100 yards to pick up 20 that time. Quick cut, got upfield, broke a tackle, made the last man miss for the touchdown.
Teachable moment for the young man. Zaire Marshall gets the ball. They go back to him. He puts the ball in the end zone this time. No need to dance. If I'm the man, I'm going to beat the guy. Don't need to show out. I just need to show up. Put the ball in the end zone. Good job, Zaire.
Big drive for Kennedy. And that 3rd and 22. The key play on that drive is it looked like Columbia Heights was going to get the football back, but Marquez Monroe made the first play, and Marshall made the last play on the drive.
Good job by Zach Zesch. Just pitch and catch. Throw the ball to your playmaker, and if you're the man, you're going to show up. You're going to be there regardless. That's a touchdown. Kennedy Eagles.
So that senior night crowd can breathe a little bit easier now with that 2-score lead back and just 7:24 remaining.
I think that could have happened a long time ago if they wouldn't have made those mistakes, penalties and turning the ball over. But such is the game, you know. It doesn't matter when you make the plays, just make the plays, and the plays are there.
And those are teachable moments for Kennedy. They're trying to learn how to win these games, and sometimes you win games because you don't make those mistakes and you know, hey, we can put our foot on the accelerator to win this game right now, and then when things get a little bit tighter, then Kennedy, you know, focuses a little bit more maybe and gets that touchdown drive.
As the season progresses and these games start to get tighter and you're getting later in the season, it's tougher to win those games when you're not. The most disciplined teams win late in the season.
Here's the kick, fumbled a bit by Oates, picks it up. A correction, that's Jonathan Hackett. And Hackett spins to the 40-yard line.
Alasani with the tackle there. I'm very impressed with his open field tackling.
So Columbia Heights, now you figure this drive pretty much need to find the end zone at some point on this drive. So you watch Hackett, sometimes this throws the return off a little bit.
He's just got pure straight edge speed. He's just a green runner. Nothing stylistic about the way he runs. It's just north and south.
Stays out there as the lone back. Has the handoff. May have lost the football.
There's that spacing again.
Kennedy pointing. Barber has it. It's Kennedy ball.
Another senior coming through making a play. Deion Barber, this is his last chance to set his stake at this field. He wants to end strong. Once again, we talked about it. If we can go back, there is too much space between the quarterback and the running back on these plays, and there it is. It pops up down on the ground. They have to get that fixed. I know he's a different running back. He's not used to it, but they got to do a better job.
Third turnover of the night for Columbia Heights. This one unforced.
And it could be that he's not getting those. He's just not getting those reps in practice. You know.
Well, that ball looked to be right there in the belly, in the mesh.
Empty formation with Rajon Walker.
Marshall in motion. Fake the handoff. Rajon.
They're gonna call holding here.
And there's that flag down at the 40. So this appears to be coming back.
Josh Malinowski calling a heck of a game today. Defensive coordinator.
You're basically pitching a shutout defensively. The one touchdown drive for Columbia Heights was about 10 yards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think all the Kennedy held all the cards.
Offense. Number 80.
All of the mistakes that were
Replay,
made.
first down.
Everything that the Heights has benefited from has been because of Kennedy's, either their penalties or their turnover.
9th Kennedy penalty. We had Josh Malinowski on Inside Kennedy Football a couple weeks ago. He is the son of the head coach, Kedrick Williams.
Same play.
This time just the other side of the field. Rajon Walker breaks a tackle. Broke another tackle.
Got to continue to block.
Walker then finally spun down at the 42-yard line. He picks up an adventurous 8 yards.
Too many guys standing around waiting for somebody to make a play. There's plays to be made in front of you. The running backs, the quarterbacks, the wideouts, they can only do what you allow them to do. They can't just make plays out of nowhere. You got to find guys to block. You have athletic players that can make something happen. Sometimes we take advantage of those things. You know, you got too many guys standing around. If you're standing around, that means there's a white jersey that needs to be blocked. Block a white jersey.
2nd and 10. Kennedy gets most of the penalty
I
yardage
love
back,
that.
and now Al-Hassani.
There is something about this kid's running ability between the tackles for a guy his size. You can see his build hasn't quite got, it's not there yet. Look at his arms, look at his triceps. For a guy his size, holy smokes. It's just not there yet.
He's only a sophomore.
Look at that vision. He did not have that vision 2 weeks ago, guys. 2 weeks ago, he would have just tried to run to the sideline. This is what happens when you gain experience. Some things can only be taught by giving a kid a chance.
Another 10-yard pickup for Al-Hassani, who's having a nice night quietly.
For some reason, they're playing man coverage. Rajon Walker with the hard count.
Offsides. Defense. Number 73.
Showing some youthful experience there.
First down.
67 yards now for Al-Hassani on 13 carries. That was the 5th penalty for Columbia Heights. 1st and 5 for the Eagles now.
I like Kennedy going with Rajon Walker to close the game out if he can just be disciplined.
Back to the sophomore. Trips through the hole, but he stays on his feet long enough to pick up a first down. He's at the 20-yard line, so Kennedy moves the sticks again.
They're putting the game in the hands of this offensive line. It's a straight run play, pulling the guards, trying to get leverage on that left side. Once again, I'm very impressed with 25. Look at his jersey. He made that mistake early and fumbled the ball, and they still trust him with the ball right now. Gotta love it. Another timeout by Columbia Heights.
They're down to just one timeout.
Second charge timeout. Columbia Heights.
So Kennedy looking very good right here with 5:07 left. Up by 2 scores and driving for the knockout punch. Let's get to our second to last Eagle Senior Spotlight of the night. It's number 27, Leighton Gabler, the linebacker, 5'10", 160 pounds. His favorite football player is Hall of Famer Howie Long. He likes pancakes, so a guy, maybe if it wasn't a breakfast food, he'd go with pizza, but he loves Coach Shelton as his favorite coach. His favorite football memory, a pick 6 he had against Jefferson in his freshman year. The player he respects most on the team is Brady Bean. His plans for next year, have fun. And something interesting about him, he says that he's cool. I like that armband, that's pretty cool there.
It is cool.
Number 27, Leighton Gabler for Kennedy.
And he's made some pretty good plays on defense here tonight. Columbia Heights, I wonder why they're just not going to bring guys and dare Rajon Walker to throw the ball. Bring pressure.
First and 10.
That is a touchdown if they can find it.
Dion Barber spins to the goal line. Touchdown for Barber on senior night.
Beautiful job by the senior. Right down the middle. This offensive line jumping on their back, putting the ball in the end zone. That very well could be it.
And a nice moment for Dion Barber. Has made so many brilliant defensive plays for Kennedy in his career. And gets that offensive moment.
First charge timeout. Kennedy.
And 20-yard run, not just a 1-yard dive for Barber. He was looking like his older brother, Terrell Davis Barber.
I don't know if Terrell had the scats like this, the feet, the power, the stiff arm. I'm sorry, Terrell, I don't know, you didn't look like that, man.
Terrell might have just outran Columbia Heights.
He would have just outran you.
But Dion Barber, a little bit of a different mold, but finds the end zone nonetheless for Kennedy. One more look at Barber, 20-yard run.
That's what we call power play. Pulling the guard, getting the leverage on that left side. Only being touched about 8 to 10 yards down the field. Gotta love the scheme.
David Aviles Rizzo has been perfect extra points. Here's a fake. Jesse Falk, a two-pointer! And look who catches it! The senior Brady Bean! Senior to senior for the two-pointer! And look how excited the Eagles senior group is for that conversion.
That's awesome. You talk about a kid, I want to say that probably, I could guess, that's probably his only play on offense this year. There's certain kids that make up a program and they always get in front, but there's certain kids that are the program because they're holding the team up. Brady Bean is one of those guys. I'm so proud of that kid to be able to catch a touchdown. He doesn't get his name in the paper. He does not going to be seen on the internet. You're not going to hear his name being broadcasted. But tonight, Brady Bean, you got your name called out. Good job, Brady.
And how about Jesse Falk, a guy that last year was a starting quarterback much of the year, been replaced this year, but he's been such a valuable player on defense, special teams for Kennedy, and what a moment for him to throw one more pass into the end zone for that two-point conversion for Jesse Falk.
Isn't this what football is all about? This is why I love this sport. It's the ultimate community game. There's nothing like this game.
If you're out there, you're a Columbia Heights fan, you're thinking, well, Kennedy's just running up the score there. I think that play designed specifically for this senior night in mind, and that's Coach Williams and the special teams unit giving those couple of seniors a chance to combine on a memorable play for them.
Yes, they deserve it. Here we go. Can make another play.
All sorts of trouble here for Columbia Heights on this return.
Wow.
And it's wrapped up at the 10-yard line. Saeed Al-Hassani tracked down Walton Hunter.
I'm telling you, Coach Kedrick Williams has a lot of guys out on the edge that are going to be able to make plays in the near future. There is a lot of potential in this program going forward, and he knows it. This has to be a scary team for this district.
You know, let's get to our final senior spotlight of the night here. I know Columbia Heights has the ball, but we just watched Jesse Falk throw that two-point conversion, a moment he won't forget for the senior. Number 15, his favorite football player is Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. His favorite food is pho. Now, I don't know if you know what pho is, DJ, but it's a Chinese soup. It's very flavorful and delicious if made properly. His favorite coach on the team is Jay Robinson. His favorite TV show is SpongeBob SquarePants.
Good choice.
And his favorite football memory is that homecoming win last year. Also, the player he respects most on the team is Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. Jesse Falk, what a great moment for him with that two-point conversion moments ago for Kennedy.
Yes, he's a great kid. He's not afraid to speak up on social justice issues. He can rap. Nobody knows that. I know that. The kid is a pretty good. He's got bars.
Why wasn't that on the form then, or at least maybe a sampling of what he can do?
You know what I mean? Sometimes you just, you know what I'm saying?
Here's a pass on the money. Might have been ripped away, though, by Marquez Monroe.
I guarantee they're not going to give it to him.
They're lobbying his
my
Kennedy.
goodness. There's no way that this ball isn't Kennedy's ball. But if we're going to go with what they've gone consistently all day,
They're going to
or
talk.
all night.
They're going to talk about it at least.
Oh, they tricked me. Whoa.
Marquez Monroe with the turnover.
Uh-oh.
And I think it's the right call if you
It
look at
is.
the replay.
Coach Hammy's going to hurry up and get the turnover chain. It is the right call.
Ball never hit the ground. Marquez Monroe. Is that a fumble recovery? Is it an interception? I think it's a fumble recovery,
It's
right?
a play he's going to put on his huddle because that's what that kid does all day long. He makes plays. I keep saying it. This kid is a future college athlete, and he has a great GPA.
You can see Marquez, when they go to the ground, he pretty much has full control of that, it looked like, at least on that view. And a good job by the officiating crew not to rush to judgment. They talked about it and looked like they made the right call in favor of Kennedy there.
Very much so the right call. There's still 3 minutes left. There's a lot of plays to make.
Let's get one more in the end zone. Rajon Walker on a busted play. And it's a loss for Kennedy.
And that's just him being so young. He didn't know which way to go with the handoff. Not enough reps. They're getting the seniors out at well-deserved tonight.
Lumen Kamoji, big hand for number 64.
All the coaches working hard to get guys off the field right now. To get some kids some playing time and to get the right curtain call for the right kids right now.
Second and 12 for Kennedy, under 3 minutes left. Alisani, left side, gets down to the 20. Catchmark with another tackle. Where would they be defensively without 73?
Right. He's all over the place. If there's somebody that you could, in a loss, coaches, that's part of our job as well. We're pretty negative by nature sometimes, but if you're going to give somebody an opportunity or give somebody a positive, you give number 73, William Catchmark, you give him, I don't know what you give him. Back in my day, you give a guy, they gave out these wooden bones if you were good on defense. Some kind of sticker on the back of your helmet. What did they call it? Oh, there he is again.
Oh my goodness, third and long, new quarterback in there for Kennedy.
He's getting the decal. That's what we would call the bone hit of the week back home. That's it. He laid the wood.
Well, if you're that team, I know you're a Michigan fan. If you're that team down south, they'd give you a
Starts
Buckeye
timeout.
for that.
Columbia Heights.
I just threw up in my mouth.
Kyle Schletty is the quarterback for Kennedy now, number 12, getting another senior a rep there. Minute 55 left. Columbia Heights uses its last timeout.
This was a complete team win. A lot of emotions, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Just not too long ago, it was 14-7.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect for Kennedy. They certainly had chances to maybe have this 29-7 score happen a little bit earlier in the game. But once Columbia Heights made it a 2-score game, you like to see Kennedy deliver that knockout punch, and certainly they did that tonight.
Yeah, it was just straight identity things, strong, straightforward runs. They found out what they could do with the new quarterback, with Rajon Walker. They obviously can run the ball with Deion Barber.
Run up the middle. This is Juan Rivera Oloa, number 24, 5'11", 180-pound junior with his first career Kennedy carry.
Hopped up like he was super excited, like woohoo.
He was short of the first down, though, which means it's a turnover on downs, and Columbia Heights gets it back one last time.
Pretty cool to see the new guys that they got in there still blocking downfield, still being physical. They're going to have to replace a lot of guys next year. but the cupboard is not bare.
Yeah, especially on the offensive and defensive line for Kennedy. But we'll worry about that in a couple weeks. Still another game to play for Kennedy next week against a very strong opponent in Mound West Tonka. Here's a catch for Chase Oates. Stays inbounds to keep the clock moving. Remember, Columbia Heights without a timeout.
I guess my mind was just so emotional now that it's senior night, so I'm thinking.
It's so early too, week 5 of the year. So unusual in this shortened season.
Right. This is a special season. We'll all remember this season.
A season that didn't look like it was going to happen. Then it was pushed this spring, but they found a way to play this fall. Most teams have gotten in every game this year. There's been a few cancellations. Rockwell trying to drive the field one last time as he completes that one to Isaiah Grissom for a first down.
That's a really good throw and catch by the Islanders.
It's a midweek game next week, remember. Kennedy will
Officials timeout for injury.
Kennedy will be on the road at Mound West Tonka. Actually, they play on Thursday. We'll have the Jefferson game there at home on Wednesday. Inside Jefferson football and inside Kennedy football on Tuesday. We'll talk about this Kennedy Eagle win with the head coach.
I know he'll be excited to actually talk about a win. We hope that Jesse Falk is okay as he, gets up on his own accord.
He wants to play one last game for Kennedy. Looks like an ankle. Hopefully it's not too severe.
Game clock operator. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 2 seconds.
I'm sure Coach Williams will love to see the highlights on Tuesday. Plenty of them to show in this impressive Kennedy win.
Plenty of plays that could be used next week as well.
Thank you.
And some things to, it wasn't perfect for Kennedy. Penalties. But certainly you have to love the effort, especially on defense, and then offensively just kind of ground down Columbia Heights enough.
Again, those are tough throws to make, especially when you're 5'10", you can't see over the line or can barely see over the line. You kind of have to trust your arm strength and get it out there as Jackson comes off to the field on a big hurrah, his last night as a Kennedy Eagle.
I like how they're doing these curtain calls. Kennedy is for these seniors. That's Reichenberger, Cooper.
It's well deserved.
Kennedy getting ready to celebrate their first win of the year. They'd like to keep Columbia Heights out of the end zone, though, with the backups in there. It's a first down. Clock will stop momentarily. And what few fans are here because of the pandemic have been very vocal, obviously mostly parents and friends. So they can understand what's going on in the field in terms of the curtain calls and the players coming up in and off the senior class for Kennedy.
I mean, the season almost didn't happen. And for these seniors, they could have easily said, we don't have enough to play for. There's no state championship. Our season was almost over. As we see the pass.
Broken up, then is it caught?
Schletty, oh, he did catch it. They're calling it a catch.
Schletty broke it up, but watch Grissom.
1, 2, 3, pop that ball out. That's some good West Coast slant. Look at this, whoa.
13.4 seconds left as they spike it. Good concentration by Grissom. I think he caught it, and he did, yeah. It took a little while, but he corralled it.
That's a great focus. That's very good focus. Got to give a lot of credit to Schletty coming downhill, popping that thing loose. It just was a better play made by number 16.
So now without a timeout, 13.4 seconds left. You're probably thinking end zone here, Columbia Heights.
They keep going to that slant. He kind of covered the slant. Don't let him inside.
Slant that way. Oh, it's caught, but it inbounds in short of the first down.
That's going to be it.
The clock stopped. Actually, it was a first down. Excuse me. It was second and short. They need to get up to the line quickly.
Right.
Clock starts now, and they clock it, so 4.9. Could get off 2 plays here if you throw it quickly enough.
Once again, West Coast play. 3-step drop.
You wonder if Columbia Heights could throw more, DJ. Sorry to cut you off a little bit there, but in these 2-minute drills, Matt Rockwell looks pretty comfortable back there.
Now, I don't know if it would have really benefited them. They hurt tonight not having number 6 in the backfield.
Very good point. Trying to get into the end zone for a second time here. Fade route. And
it's an awesome play. That's an interception to end the game.
Elijah Smith.
Elijah Smith, the youngster, the young buck, coming through, making the play. The last play at home for the Kennedy Eagles.
There you go. That's pride right there, DJ. You want to leave the field the right way. Elijah Smith doesn't really, game-wise, doesn't matter if it's complete or not, but the youngster, the sophomore, goes up, makes a play, 5th turnover of the night.
That is beautiful. It is so hard to make that play out there on the island. They were testing the sophomore. I can guarantee you in the booth, they were saying, I've been in those booths, take a shot at the young kid, take a shot at the small guy. That's how you play right there. Congratulations to the Kennedy Eagles.
Kennedy, a memorable senior night for these 14 seniors they weren't sure a season was going to happen, but even with an 0-4 start makes all the work and effort worth it for moments like this one to celebrate with their team and get that first win of the year. Meanwhile, Columbia Heights falls to 0-5. They will play Fridley in a out-of-district game to close their season next Thursday. What a night, though, for Kennedy. DJ, it was close at the half, but then the playmakers for Kennedy with Marquez Monroe, Rajon Walker, Zaire Marshall, they made the plays in the second half that were the difference.
And that's what it was going to come down to all year long, the turnovers, not being able to move the ball. Somehow in a game like tonight, somebody had to play their best game. You know, both teams, I think, came out and played extremely hard. Columbia Heights, it just didn't go their way. You know, Clark ended up getting hurt, not coming back. I think he was hurt probably well into the second quarter. But if you're Kennedy, you can't worry about that. You just got to go out there and put good plays together. Got to give a lot of credit to Coach Williams, the staff. They said that this group was really excited, but they were really focused. So when you have that laser-like focus, anything can happen. Congratulations to the Eagles.
Kennedy moves to 1-4. And they will play Mound West Tonka to close the regular season on Thursday. The Eagles win it, going away 29-7 on senior night. DJ and I will be back for highlights and our final thoughts in a Kennedy win here on senior night.